Chapter 1461 Decision. Captain, this is my dereliction of duty, and I am willing to accept the punishment. Dong Shenyao did not shirk his responsibilities, nor did he make any excuses, and his performance undoubtedly made Captain Yamamoto very satisfied. This is indeed your dereliction of duty. After all, this person is your subordinate, but you did not find out what he did. Now I will give you a chance to atone for your sins. Arrest this person immediately, and destroy all research at the same time. Information, can you do this? Captain Yamamoto asked, looking at Dong Shenyao seriously. Don't worry, the captain, make sure to complete the mission. Well, you can deal with it now. Dong Shenyao didn't stay long either. After saying goodbye to the commander-in-chief, he hurriedly returned to the 12th Division. However, instead of arresting Yuja Oxu immediately, he found Bachianryu. Although there are many subordinates of Dong Shenyao, some direct descendants have been cultivated over the years, and the Shenlong Club is a large organization in the Seranjie, and there are members of the Shenlong Club in the 13th Gotei team. However, this matter is of great importance, so Dong Shenyao did not seek these subordinates. At present, there are not many people in the entire Seranjie who can truly convince him, and 28,000 Ryu is undoubtedly one of them. What's wrong with Xiaoyao? Seeing Dong Shenyao's sneaky look, Bachenliu knew that he must have something important to look for. Don't ask about Bachenliu. Now you go to Yuja Oxu secretly immediately. Remember not to let others find out. After seeing him, tell him that the matter has been exposed, and the captain is preparing to send someone. Catch him and let him deal with the funeral quickly. Dong Shenyao said very solemnly. Understood, Xiaoyao, don't worry, I will handle it. Bachenliu sensed the seriousness of this matter from Dong Shenyao's tone, so he didn't ask any further questions and left immediately, while Dong Shenyao also took this opportunity to start gathering people. The arrest of Yujao Oxu is naturally for the people from the Security Bureau to do, so Dong Shenyao called together some people from the Security Bureau, and in order to buy time for Bachenliu, Dong Shenyao also deliberately took this time. The task was set again. Everyone, Yuja Oxu, the 7th seat of our squad, is suspected of conducting research on the cloned death god strictly prohibited by the captain. Now I am under the order of the captain to arrest Yuja Oxu and destroy all research materials. Give me all of them. Cheer up, you know. Yes. After seeing everyone's reaction, Dong Shenyao nodded in satisfaction, and then led someone to find Yuja Oxu. Along the way, after finding out where Yuja Oxu was, the group rushed over. According to the information given by Ta Shenyao, Hachi, Qinliu soon met Yuja Oxu, and at this time he was conducting secret research in his laboratory. Oh. At this time, the door was locked, but it was difficult for Bachenliu. She broke the door directly, and the huge sound also alarmed Yujao Oxu. Who is it? Yujao Oxu was surprised, because he was doing research at this time, and it would be bad if he was discovered. It's me. Although this voice was a little immature, it was majestic at the time. Turning his head to look, Yuji Oxu breathed a sigh of relief after seeing that it was Yaqian Ryu coming. Everyone in the 12th Division knew that Yaqian Ryu was Dong Shenyao's younger sister, so seeing that she was Yuji Oxu relaxed a little. I've seen the director. Yujao Oxu hurriedly saluted. Yaqian Ryu is the director of the Security Bureau, and her status is equivalent to the vice captain. As the 7th seat, Yujao Oxu naturally wants to greet her when she sees her. Okay, don't talk nonsense. This time I was looking for you because Xiaoyao asked me to come. He asked me to inform you that the research has been exposed, and the commander-in-chief is now ordering to arrest you, so you should take care of the aftermath as soon as possible. Let's do it. After saying that, Yaqian Ryu didn't give Yuja Oxu a chance to ask, and turned around and left. At this time, Yujao Oxu was already stunned there. He didn't expect that the research would be discovered just after he obtained the giant Datapa, great breakthrough, and he didn't even have time to conduct specific experiments. Yuji Oxu's face was constantly changing, but he soon made up his mind. I will never allow my hard work to be ruined like this. Thinking of this, Ugoxu acted quickly. After relocking the door, I saw Ugoxu first recorded all the research materials about the cloned death god, then opened the gate to the world, threw the recorded materials in, and then put the laboratory. All research materials are destroyed. After taking a last look at the cultivation warehouse on the side, Ugoxu bit Kiba and put on a helmet. Open the door. Bang bang bang. When Dong Shenyao and his party came to Ugoxu's research room, they found that the door was locked, so they had no choice but to knock on the door, but no one responded after more than 10 seconds. Break the door open, Dong Shenyao ordered with a cold face. No nonsense. After Dong Shenyao's order was issued, a god of death immediately began to knock on the door. Bang, bang, bang. After hitting it 3 times in a row, there was only a bang sound. The door was knocked open, and then Dong Shenyao and his party broke into the research room. After coming in, everyone saw that the experimental instruments in the room were running, and Ugoxu was sitting on a chair with his back to everyone. No need for Dong Shenyao's orders. Several gods of death walked over to check, but at this time they found that Ugoxu had collapsed on the chair. His eyes were closed, and he looked like he was in a coma. Sir, Ugoxu is in a coma. After checking, a death god reported to Dong Shenyao. Then you put him aside first, then check the equipment and destroy all the materials at the same time. Dong Shenyao gave the order without hesitation. After receiving the order, the death gods of the Security Bureau acted immediately, but soon they found that the data had been destroyed, and only some experimental instruments were left. Sir, I didn't find any information, only some experimental instruments. In addition, we also found 2 people in the cultivation warehouse. How do you think we should deal with these? Hearing his subordinates report Dong Shenyao's expressionless face, he had already expected this situation. After all, Ugoxu did this in the original book. But he didn't care, because he still had a copy of the experimental data, and every time Ugoxu's experiment made progress, he would give him a copy of the data, which was agreed by the 2 long ago. Since the data is gone, don't worry about it. As for the people in the training warehouse, let them go first. Those experimental instruments will be destroyed. Chapter 1462 Captain's Concerns. Following Dong Shenyao's order, the gods of death immediately acted. A part of the Grim Reaper began to destroy the instruments. The so-called destruction here is not just as simple as smashing, but using the broken path to completely smash the instruments, smashing them into a spiritual state, and only in this way cannot be restored. In addition, the 2 people in the training warehouse were also released, but they were both in a coma at this time, so the gods of death didn't care about them, just put them aside. After all the instruments were completely destroyed, Dong Shenyao took the people away. Of course, Ugoxu, who had passed out in a coma, and 2 people who were found in the training warehouse were also taken away. When the group left, the entire research room had become empty, and there was nothing left. After coming out of the research room, Dong Shenyao personally took the 3 of you to the 4th division. After all, they are all in a coma now, and naturally they need to receive treatment. After learning that Dong Shenyao was coming, Usually naturally received them in person. What's the matter with Dongshen-kun? Seeing that Dong Shenyao came with many people, Usually knew that this time looking for himself was definitely not a private matter. That's it. Dong Shenyao didn't waste any time, and directly explained the matter of Ugoxu. 927 inches according to the commander-in-chief's instructions, he was already in a coma when I found Ugoxu, so I have to trouble you to treat him. By the way, there are 2 other people whose identities cannot be determined yet, so you should also check together. Okay, leave it to me. In the face of Dong Shenyao's request, Usually would naturally not refuse. Originally, it would be better to leave this matter to his subordinates, but this time, Usually personally took action. As the captain of the 4th Division, Uno Hanali's medical skills are naturally the best among the 4th Division. After checking it carefully, Usually frowned and found Dong Shenyao. East God-kun, the two unidentified people you brought are fine, and it won't take long for you to wake up. It's Yujao Oxu. I found that his soul is very weak. If there is no accident, if so, I am afraid it is impossible to wake up in this life. Quote. Dong Shenyao is not surprised by the result that Maojawali said. After all, according to the information in the original work, Yujao Oxu split his own soul. Based on his own soul, he used the technology of transforming the soul to make the split soul become perfected, creating two clone souls. It is precisely because there is Yujao Oxu's soul in it that they also have a true spirit, so the two Inaba Shadow Wolf Sao in the original work obviously transformed their souls, but they have Zanpakuto and can make themselves stronger through practice. But although he knew about it, Dong Shenyao didn't plan to say it, and he didn't want to destroy Yujao Oxu's plan. Anyway, this matter did not threaten him, and even if he planned it well, the fisherman could profit. Since this is the case, then these three people will ask you, Sister Wa, and notify me when the two wake up. No problem. Because he had to report to the commander-in-chief, Dong Shenyao didn't stay for long. There will be no surprises here with Maojawali, so Dong Shenyao did not leave the security bureau. After sending the people from the security bureau back to the 12th division, Dong Shenyao came to the 1st division again. How is it? It's all over. After seeing Dong Shenyao, the commander-in-chief asked straight to the point. It has been dealt with for the time being, but there are some accidents in the middle. Oh, what's the accident? While speaking, Captain Yamamoto's expression became a little dignified. Because he got the information, Yujao Oxu can already clone the captain-level death god. It is because of this news that he is so eager to let Dong Shenyao start. Otherwise, the commander-in-chief is afraid that it will be too late to clone out a lot of captain-level powerhouses, which will be difficult to handle. Even the commander-in-chief did not have the confidence to face too many captain-level death gods at the same time. Captain, when we found Yujao Oxu, we didn't know what happened. He was in a coma, and all the research materials were deleted. Now the experimental instruments have been destroyed by me, and the people have been sent to me. Team 4. However, after the diagnosis of Captain Ujawa, Yujao Oxu was seriously injured, and I am afraid that he will not be able to wake up in this life. By the way, we also found two unidentified people in Yuji Asha's research room. They are also in a coma, so the specific situation is still unclear. After hearing Dong Shenyao's report, Captain Yamamoto's brows could not help wrinkling. He looked at Dong Shenyao after pondering for a moment and asked, "You said, Yujao Oxu was in a coma and was attacked by someone. This person also took the research materials." To say that the captain is most concerned about researching the data, because this is something that can subvert the Seirenge, so he will not allow the data to be leaked. Although there is a possibility, no traces of fighting have been found in the room, and I have never heard of anyone looking for Yuzuru-O before, so this matter is still uncertain. That's it, then you continue to investigate, and you must not let the information fall into the hands of others. By the way, there are two unidentified people who should investigate their identities as soon as possible, maybe they will know something. Yes. After taking the order, Dong Shenyao didn't stay for long and left soon. When Dong Shenyao left, the captain fell into deep thought again. After a few minutes, he heard the captain say to himself, "Is what he said true?" At this time, there was only the captain in the room, and no one answered him. Then he heard the captain say again, "Send someone to investigate this matter secretly, and the matter of Yujao Oxu's coma must also be investigated." The room was still very quiet, and no one appeared. If an outsider saw this scene at this time, they would probably think that the captain was insane. It was already in the afternoon when the commander-in-chief sought him out. When Dong Shenyao left the first team again, it was not long before he got off work. He did not go to the 4th team, but returned directly to the 12th team. At this time, the matter about Yujao Oxu had already spread in the 12th division, and everyone knew that he was arrested because he was researching the things that Seirenge had banned, which surprised many people. Because in their impression, although Yu Zhao Oxu is very talented, he is not proud of his talents, but a very honest person. But he never thought that such an honest person in the eyes of everyone would do such a big thing now. Chapter 1463 Interrogation. At this time, the people of the 12th Division were talking about Yu Zhao Oxu. Many people were shocked when they heard about it. After all, in their impression Yu Zhao Oxu was an honest person, they didn't expect it to be like this. A person who is usually kind and doesn't speak much, would do such a thing. After returning to the 12th Division, Dong Shenyao directly called everyone together. Soon the death gods of the 12th Division gathered in the square. Everyone, you should have heard about Yu Zhao Oxu, so I'll tell it again here. Since Yu Zhao Oxu secretly conducts research that is forbidden by Saraiti in private, I am entrusting the Commander-in-Chief today. Order, arrest Yu Zhao Oxu, and destroy all research materials at the same time. At present, Yu Oxu has been successfully arrested, and the research materials have also been destroyed. That's the way it is. In the future, all of you should be careful not to violate the laws and regulations of Saranjay at will, and Yu Zhao Oxu is a lesson for you. After hearing Dong Shenyao's words, everyone's heart tensed. Okay, that's it, all the officers and the management of the Security Bureau will gather here, and the others will be dismissed. As the words of Dong Shenyao fell, those ordinary gods of death slowly dispersed, and the top of the 12th Division surrounded them. Yu Zhaoshu is the 7th seat, and now that he has been arrested, this position is temporarily vacant. As for the work that belongs to him, he will ask several other seat officials to share it, and then talk about it after re-election of a seat officer. Quote. Yes, don't worry, my lord, we will coordinate the work. The officers of the 12th Division responded immediately. By the way, after you go back, investigate carefully to see if anyone else has violated the ban. The Commander-in-Chief is very unhappy with this incident, and I have also been criticized. If this happens again, don't blame me. You, welcome. Speaking of this, Dong Shenyao's murderous aura flashed away. Don't worry, my lord, we will definitely supervise carefully. After realizing Dong Shenyao's murderous aura, everyone quickly assured him. After explaining these officers, Dong Shenyao looked at the top of the Security Bureau again. What you have to do next is to maintain the stability of the 12th Division, and don't let the 12th Division be in chaos because of Yu Zhao Oxu's affairs, you know. Yes. After explaining the matter, Dong Shenyao let everyone leave, and he did not continue to stay in the 12th Division, and went home to start preparing dinner. Not long after Dong Shenyao finished his dinner, Yi and Yuji Walai came one after another. The two people you sent Dongshin-kun have woken up. I asked someone to ask them. The two of them said they were from Liuhun Street, and they didn't know about the others. Said while eating. What's the matter? Yi suddenly interjected. Today, the captain found that someone in our 12th Division violated the ban and secretly studied the clone of death, so let me investigate. Dong Shenyao briefly explained the matter. So, how did you handle this matter? Yi continued to ask. The man has already been arrested, but Yu Zhao Oxu is in a coma, and Sister Hua said that he may not be able to wake up in his life. When Yu Zhao Oxu was arrested, he also found two pieces in his laboratory. A stranger, because both of them were in a coma, so they were sent to the 4th Division. So that's what happened. After learning what happened, Yi didn't say anything. At this time, Dong Shenyao looked at Ujawali and asked, are those two people telling the truth? I'm not sure yet, it still needs to be investigated. But I found that both of them have the qualifications to become the gods of death. Uno Hanali explained. After hearing this, Dong Shenyao nodded and looked at Yi and said, Yi, please help me investigate the information of those two people. That's fine, but I have to at least see what they both look like. It's simple, we'll go to the 4th Division together early tomorrow morning. Soon the time came to the second day, and Dong Shenyao took the death god of the Security Bureau directly to the 4th Division to bring people back, and of course Yi was also with him. The two were a man and a woman. The woman looked younger and had the same green hair as Yu-Gi-Oh. The man is a middle-aged man. The hair is half green and half yellow. When they saw Dong Shenyao, both of them were a little nervous. Seeing this, Dong Shenyao knew that this was because they both had some memories of Yu Jiao, so they recognized themselves. After bringing the two back to the 12th division, Dong Shenyao detained them separately, and then personally interrogated one of them. In the interrogation room, Dong Shenyao looked at the green-haired woman in front of him and asked, "What's your name?" My name is Juju Wangxi," the woman said nervously. "Is it true? You said that you live in Liuhun Street before, so I don't know which block of Liuhun Street you live in, and do you have any relatives?" Dong Shenyao continued to ask. "I live in District 73 in the north and have no relatives." Judiao Wangxi shook his head and said, "Is that so? Can you tell us about your arrest and what happened after that?" "I don't know how I was caught. I was looking for food that day, and suddenly I felt a pain in my neck, and then I fell into a coma. When I woke up, I was already in the 4th division." After that, Dong Shenyao asked some more things, but he didn't get anything. He didn't care about it. He left the interrogation room directly, and then went to another room to interrogate the middle-aged man. The information I got in the end was similar. The man said that his name was Inaba Yinglangzhou, and he was from the 70th block in the north. When he was out looking for food, he suddenly felt a pain in his neck and then he didn't know anything. Squad. After seeing that there was no information, Dong Shenyao temporarily imprisoned the two and then went to the 2nd division. Although Dong Shenyao knew the truth, in order to deal with the captain, these things were still to be done. "How about Yi? Is there anything to gain?" "I have already sent someone to investigate, and there should be news soon," Yi replied. Hearing that, Dong Shenyao was not in a hurry, and waited directly in the office while flirting with Yi. But after more than 10 minutes, Broken Bee walked in. After seeing Dong Shenyao, Broken Bee immediately turned Yuhi on his cheeks and looked a little shy. "Little Broken Bee, we met again, how's the time going?" Dong Shenyao asked with a smile on his face. Chapter 1464 Calm. "Little Broken Bee, we met again, how's the time going?" Dong Shenyao asked with a smile on his face. I'm fine." Broken Bee looked at Dong Shenyao cautiously and said. "I am so scary, little Broken Bee, why are you so afraid of me?" Dong Shenyao said after touching his face. "No, sir, you are not scary." Broken Bee shook his head again and again. "Well, then why do you always look like this every time you see me?" Dong Shenyao teased. At this moment, Yuhi's cheeks swelled, and Yuhi didn't know what to say. "Okay, don't play tricks on other people's little girls." Yi spoke at this time, which made Broken Bee grow out of breath. Of Broken Bee, Dong Shenyao felt amused, and he naturally knew why. The Broken Bee family is an affiliated family belonging to the Saifeng Yuan family, and the Broken Bee is the most outstanding person in their family's generation, and is also the heir to the head of the family. In order to keep up with the footsteps of the Saifeng Yuan clan and strengthen the connection between the two clans, their clan sent Broken Bees to Yi's side to show their loyalty. After all, they all handed over the heirs of the family master to Yi. If this is not loyal, then what is loyalty? Broken Bee is nominally Yi's subordinate, but in fact it can be regarded as her maid, so the relationship between the two is still very close. Once, Dong Shenyao went to find Yi, because he and Yi were lovers, so he didn't need to report when he came to the Saifeng Yuan family. Everyone in the Saifeng Yuan family knew him. In this way, Dong Shenyao came to Yi to live in the courtyard smoothly. Just when Dong Shenyao entered Yi's boudoir, he didn't expect that Broken Bee would take a bath here. Although most of Broken Bee's body was in the tub, Dong Shenyao didn't see anything substantial. At that time, this still made Broby very shy, and every time he saw Dong Shenyao, he would think of what happened that time, and that's why he behaved like this. However, Yi didn't know about this matter. Dong Shenyao and Broken Bee had a tacit understanding and did not tell the matter. This is a little secret between the two. It is precisely because of this that I was also very curious as to why Broby became so shy after seeing Dong Shenyao. After the interlude, it's business. Have the things I asked you to investigate come to fruition? Yes, this time I'm here to tell you, Lord Yi, I didn't find the two people you asked me to investigate after I searched the entire Seraiti information, so they shouldn't be Seraiti people. As for Liu Hunji, because we don't pay much attention there, it is difficult to investigate the information of the two of them. Yi didn't speak after hearing Broby's report, just looked at Dong Shenyao. Broken B, thank you so much. Dong Shenyao thanked him. No, it's nothing. Broken B suddenly waved his hand in panic. Okay, Broby, go down first. Seeing Broby like this, Yi didn't want to let her stay any longer. After sending the Broby away, Yi looked at Dongshan and said, it seems that the two are not lying, they are indeed from Ryahun Street. Otherwise, if they are from Seraiti, even if they were not the gods of death before, our second division can find the information. Well, it looks like this at the moment. Well, Yi will trouble you this time. Since there is a result, I will report to the captain. Go. Yi did not retain Dong Shenyao. After kissing Yi goodbye, Dong Shenyao came to the first team. Captain, the matter and general investigation are over. Oh, is there any new progress? Captain Yamamoto asked. There hasn't been much progress, and no one has yet been found to have attacked Yu Jiao, so his coma may have been caused by himself. As for the two strangers found in the laboratory, after investigation, they should be people from Liuhun Street, but I don't know. Why was Yu Jiao Xu caught here? They know very little, but they all have the qualifications to become gods of death. I don't know what the commander-in-chief is going to do with them. After hearing Dong Shenyao's report, Captain Yamamoto did not rush to answer, but fell into deep thought. After a few minutes, he looked back to his senses. Since there is no new discovery, then this matter will stop here, and there is no need to continue the investigation. As for Yu Jiao Oshu, who passed out in a coma, it's better to imprison him in the nest of maggots. Since the two strangers are also victims, then don't embarrass them. You go back and ask, if they are interested in becoming a god of death, they can enter the true spiritual academy to study. Yes. Dong Shenyao was not surprised by the arrangement of the captain, but he knew that the captain would not give up easily. Even if he was not allowed to investigate, the captain himself would secretly send other people to investigate. However, Dong Shenyao didn't care about this matter, because he was confident that even if the chief inspector personally investigated, he would not find any clues, and he would not find out that Yu Jiao Oxu did all this with his acquiescence. Even if the commander-in-chief had doubts, it was impossible to find clues. After the commander-in-chief said the result, he sent Dong Shenyao away. At this point, the matter was over, at least on the surface. Dong Shenyao did not care about this matter anymore. After leaving the first team, he directly returned to the 12th team. As soon as he returned to the 12th division, Dong Shenyao found Juho Wangshi. I'm so sorry about you. You were attacked because of our negligence. No, it doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with you, sir. Juju Wangshi said with a little panic. In any case, this is the dereliction of duty by us, Xiao Lingtai, who did not take good care of his subordinates, so in order to compensate you, you can go to the True Spiritual Art Academy to study. If you can successfully graduate, then you can become a real death god. No, do you know how you feel? Can I really study? Juho Nozomi 3.0 asked very happily. Acting skills are really high. Looking at Jutiao Wangshi, Dong Shenyao secretly praised in his heart. If he hadn't read the original book, he would never have imagined that such a harmless little girl who seemed to be harmless to humans and animals was actually made by a part of Osh. However, Dong Shenyao also knew that at the moment of separation, Juho Wangshi was already an independent individual with her own thinking. Otherwise, she would not have chosen to resist after merging with a Naba Shadow Wolf in the original book. Shaking his head, Dong Shenyao stopped thinking about these things, and turned to Jujiao Wangshi and said, of course it is true, it seems that you like this decision very much, so now I will arrange your enrollment. Thank you. Chapter 1465 The Turmoil of Saraiti. That's good. It seems that you like to study at the True Spiritual Art Institute. Then I will arrange the admission for you as soon as possible. Thank you, sir, Juju Wangxi said gratefully. The reason why she was so happy with this arrangement of Dong Shenyao was because she really had no other place to go. Although he said that he was from Liuhun Street, this was just a lie after all. If she really let her go to Liuhun Street, Juju Wangji really didn't know how to live. So the best result is to stay in Sarote. After all, she has some memories of Yuzhou Oxu, and she is relatively familiar with Seoroiti. Originally, Zhenyang Spiritual Arts Academy opened in April every year, but now there is still some time before the new semester begins. But it's not a problem to just arrange for one person to switch shifts, not to mention that this matter is allowed by the captain. After chatting with Zhujiao Wangxi, Dong Shenyao found Inaba Shadow Wolf again, and he was not so polite to Dong Shenyao, who made him a man. Inaba Shadow Wolf, you are lucky. The Commander-in-Chief ordered that you can study at the 21st True Spiritual Arts Institute. If you can graduate, then you can become an official death god. Although Dong Shenyao said it with a cold face, and his attitude was not very good, at that time, Inaba Cage Lengzo didn't care, but said with a smile, "Thank you, sir. Okay, I will make arrangements for you about admission. Before admission, you should temporarily live in the 12th division. I will let someone arrange accommodation for you. But remember not to walk around, just stay in the room when it's okay. And you don't have to worry about food, I will arrange for someone to send it to you. In short, it will not starve you." "Yes, I understand. Don't worry, my lord, I will definitely not walk around." Inaba Yinglangzo nodded again and again, his attitude seemed very good. After talking about the business, Dong Shenyao didn't chat with Inaba Kagalang Sado, and left soon. After that, Dong Shenyao found a subordinate to arrange accommodation and meals for Inaba Shadow Wolf, and then brought Juho Nozomi out. "You don't have a place to live in Seoraiti either, so you should live in my house before you enroll. Won't this bother you, sir?" Juju Wangxi said worriedly. Of course, her real thought was that she was afraid of being discovered by Dong Shenyao. "I won't bother you. Anyway, everyone else has to go to work at ordinary times, and there is no one else at home, as long as you don't feel lonely. Then it's troublesome for the adults." This time Juju Wangxi did not refuse again. On the same day, Dong Shenyao took Juho Mongxi back after get off work, and there were 8,000 Ryu among his classmates. 8,000 Ryu was very surprised to bring such a woman home. "Xiaoyao, aren't you afraid that Xiaoyi and Sister Hua will be dissatisfied?" "No, Yi and Sister Hua are so generous, they won't say anything." Dong Shenyao didn't seem to care, but he was a little murmured in his heart, wondering how Yi and the others would react. "Are you generous?" Ba Qinliu didn't believe Dong Shenyao's answer. As expected by Yaqianryu, after dinner, Yaiki and Ujawali were all staring at Dong Shenyao, waiting for his explanation. Cough cough. "You all know that Nozomi Kujo really has no home in the spiritual family. The captain asked me to arrange for her to study at the True Spiritual Art Institute, but it will take some time to complete the admission procedures. You also know that most of the 12th division are male death, it is always a little inconvenient to arrange Wangxi in the squad." Dong Shenyao quickly explained. Really, Yi and two women were a little suspicious. "Okay, don't think about it, let's eat." Nozomi Kujo didn't say a word, facing the three captains at the same time, she Alexander. It took 3 days for Juho Wangxi to arrange the two of them to enter the school. Seeing that Dong Shenyao sent Juju Wangxi away so quickly, Yi Yiler two girls didn't say anything else. Xiao Lingtai soon recovered, although the other divisions also knew what happened in the 12th division, because the matter was dealt with quickly, no one said anything. Still haven't found the murderer. In the 10th team, Kono Kuohai seemed a little irritable. In recent years, there have been many disappearances of the Shinigami in Seoraite. He has been investigating, but unfortunately he has not found anything, which has caused the dissatisfaction of the chief captain. He knew that if no one else understood Benkai now, at least on the surface, the captain might have replaced him. Kono Kuohai still cherishes his current status. He had already lost the position of captain of the 11th Division before, and he does not want to lose the position of captain of the 10th Division again. Sir, we have already sent more people, but we still haven't found anything. The other members of the 10th Division also seemed a little distressed. In order to catch the murderer, they sent more people to patrol every day, but they still found nothing at the time, and they still have from time to time. Death is missing. Although the frequency is not large, only 1 or 2 disappears every month, but it can't hold for a long time. There have been dozens of dead gods who have disappeared in recent years, and these are only those who have disappeared in the Serange. There are even more dead gods who have disappeared outside, but because some of them were killed by the virtual, it is more difficult to investigate. So they didn't count. 800. Kono Kuohai knew that it was not easy for his subordinates, so although he was a little anxious, he didn't blame others too much at that time. He could only strengthen his defense. Aizen-sama, Ichi Silvermaru has successfully understood Benkai. Can we implement the plan? Don't worry, he has just realized Benkai. He has not fully grasped it yet. Wait a few more years, so that the probability of him becoming the captain in the future can be even greater. Okay. Seeing Aizen say so, Dongxian didn't say anything. The other things in Serange had little to do with Dongxianyao, and he didn't pay attention to it. At this time, most of his energy was focused on the inner demons in his body. Of course, it could also be called emptiness. During this time, Dongxianyao also thought about another fight with Fake, but in the end he gave up. Because at present he is not 100% sure to defeat the void in the body. Once it is released, it will not be easy to imprison him again. Forget it, wait a few more years. It's just a pity that my Benkai is too powerful. Not only can it not be fully developed, but it has not been used for a long time. Otherwise, there is hope that it can completely defeat the demon. Thinking of this, Dongxian showed helplessness in his dazzling eyes. Chapter 1466 Upsurge. At this time, Dongxianyao's Reiatsu has reached the limit of the god of death, and naturally he has realized Benkai. It's just that his Benkai is too powerful, so it consumes a lot of money after using it, and it is impossible to use Benkai for a long time. However, it is not easy to defeat the demons by simply breaking out in a short period of time. Contrary, if you still can't defeat the demon after using Benkai, then the consumption will be too large, which will give you an opportunity to take advantage of the demon. Therefore, in the last battle, Tashinyao did not use Benkai, but only fought with Shikai alone. Time will not stop because of anyone, just in the midst of the busyness of everyone, time passes slowly, and years have passed in the blink of an eye. Bang! Looking at the report, Kono Kuohai suddenly and violently knocked on the table. It's crazy. Kono Kuohai roared with an angry look on his face, and the reason why he was so angry was precisely because of the report in his hand. I saw that the report said that just last night, 3 more death gods were killed, and one of them was a chairperson. In recent years, the frequency of death killings has become higher and higher, but the 10th team has been unable to find the murderer, which makes Kono Kuohai often reprimanded by the commander-in-chief, so he can't wait for the murderer Kono Kuohai to cramp and peel him. But unfortunately, even if he went out in person, he still did not find any clues to the murderer. My lord, this is the information from the first branch of the Shenlong Club. Recently, people have been missing from Liuhun Street, so I urge you to send someone to investigate. In the office, Dong Shenyao was listening to a member of the Shenlong Club. Report. The Shenlong Association is now divided into a general meeting, a first branch, and a second branch. The 3 are linked together. The first branch will continue to collect those who have the talent of death, and let them enter the Junyang Spiritual Arts Academy to study. They will also join the second branch of the Shenlong Club. When the members of the second branch graduate and enter the Serange to become the real god of death, they will also join the Shenlong Club. Over the years, the Shenlong Club has continued to grow and develop. Although there are not many captain-level powerhouses, there are quite a few members, and there are also some officers-level powerhouses. And the prospect of Shenlongwei is very good. If it continues to develop, it will definitely become a behemoth when the plot begins. At this time, after listening to his subordinate's report, Dong Shenyao couldn't help but fell into deep thought. The ordinary souls of Liuhun Street disappeared. Did Aizen do it? There are not many descriptions of this period in the original work. Dong Shenyao only knew that Aizen wanted to perfect the collapsed jade and also to conduct experiments, so he started with many gods of death and ordinary souls. And GT. And Liuch Quanxi and the others were plotted by Aizen when they were investigating this matter, and they were finally eroded by the virtual. If it wasn't for the help of Urahara Kazuki, I'm afraid these people would either be completely incorrigible or be executed by the strong men of Corit. However, when these things happened, Ta Shenyao couldn't be sure. Forget it, it has nothing to do with me for the time being. Thinking of this, Dong Shenyao looked at the members of the Shenlong Association in front of him and said, "You should report this matter to the captain through the channels of the Shenlong Association, and let the captain handle it." Although the Grim Reaper would not interfere in the affairs of Ryahun Street, it did not mean that they did not pay attention to Ryahun Street. If Seroite is a building, then Rukin Street is the foundation. It is precisely by the steady flow of Soul Street that provides Soul Reite with souls with the qualifications of the god of death, that makes Seo Reite grow and develop. Although there are many gods of death living in Seorite, and their children basically have the qualifications to become gods of death, but there are not many. It is not easy to combine the gods of death to give birth to offspring, so most of the gods of death actually come from Liuhun Street. Therefore, although Seoringe would not intervene in the affairs of Ryahun Street, once the changes in Ryahun Street at that time, Seoringe would not stand idly by. However, when the commander-in-chief received the news about the disappearance of the souls in Ryahun Street, he didn't care, because some souls died in Ryahun Street every day. However, the news came over after all, so although the commander-in-chief didn't care, he still sent the god of death symbolically to find out. It was only the news that was sent back that caught the attention of the captain. The people are missing, but the clothes are left. Strange, how could it be like this? After getting the news, the captain had questions in his heart. The body of a normal soul does not disappear after death. Even if it is killed by Shu, it is impossible for Shu to take off the civilian's clothes and eat him again. So now the abnormal situation in Liuhun Street has finally attracted the attention of the captain. After so many years, the captain is very clear that abnormal situations often represent conspiracies. Immediately, Captain Yamamoto sent people to Liuhun Street again to investigate to see who did it, but this time the people who went there are gone forever. Everyone sent by your lord has disappeared. Listening to the report of his subordinates, the commander-in-chief's brows could not help frowning. Sure enough, it's not a simple incident, but who did it? The commander-in-chief knows that this is definitely not something that Shu can do, because the purpose of Shu's coming to the corpse soul world is very simple, that is, to devour souls in order to obtain evolution, so they won't go to great lengths to plan any conspiracy. Therefore, this matter can only be done by the god of death. Although there is such a big enemy as the virtual circle in the soul world, it does not mean that the spiritual garden is monolithic. The god of death is also divided into many factions, and there are some Grim Reaper was dissatisfied with the rule of the captain and wanted to overthrow the Gote 13. Captain Yamamoto has been in charge of Seraiti for so many years, and he does not know how many times he has encountered a rebellion against the god of death, so he is not careless about what happened this time on Liuhun Street. Someone, get Liuch Quanxi. Yes. Liuch Quanxi, who got the news soon, came to the first team. Captain, what do you have to do with me? Lu Che Quan West, I got news not long ago that there are ordinary souls missing in Liuhun Street. Later, when I sent people to investigate, all the gods of death were also missing. Now I order you to bring people to investigate. Yes. Liuch Quanxi agreed on the spot without the slightest hesitation. After saying goodbye to the commander-in-chief, Liuch Quanxi quickly left. After returning to the 9th Division, Liu Quanxi did not delay, and immediately gathered some people and set off. Liu Quanxi didn't care about this matter. He was a captain-level powerhouse, and there were not many people in the entire corpse and soul world who could threaten him. In Liu Quanxi's opinion, his shot was not easy enough. Chapter 1467 Conspiracy, Part 1. Liu Quanxi didn't care about the task given to him by the captain this time. After all, he was a captain-level expert, even in the entire soul realm. Threaten yourself. It's just that Liu Quanxi obviously doesn't know that many things in this world are not as simple as they seem on the surface, and not all strong people will show their strength. When Liu Quanxi took the people out of Saranje, he went straight to the east of Liuhun Street, which is also the place where the god of death disappeared. At present, the disappearance of ordinary souls in Liuhun Street happened in the east. Later, the death god sent by the captain to investigate also disappeared in the east. Therefore, Liu Quanxi also led people to the east. My lord has already received the news that the commander-in-chief has sent the captain of the 9th Division to investigate this matter. A captain was dispatched directly. It seems that the captain attaches great importance to this matter. But this is also good. With a captain as the bait, I think you can catch a few big fish. Lord Aizen, when should we start? Don't worry, it's still early. Dongxian wants you to find out about Liu Quanxi and their whereabouts first. We'll talk about everything later at night. Lan Ran said with a relaxed expression, so 597 didn't seem to be dealing with a single one. A captain, but just an ordinary death team member. Yes. After taking the order, Dongxian was about to leave soon. Aizen-sama, what about me, what do I need to do? Ichi Silvermaru asked. You don't have to do anything, just follow me. Aizen said calmly. Yes, Aizen-sama. At this time, Ichi Silvermaru still had the iconic smile on his face. Because his eyes were too small, he looked as if his eyes were closed, making it impossible to see what he was thinking. Boom. Void Reiki. Liu Quanxi, who was walking in a forest, instantly raised his vigilance, because he noticed the spiritual pressure of the virtual in the distance. Although this spiritual pressure was not very strong, that is, the level of the giant virtual, but this time after all, he came to investigate the case, and he was not sure whether this false appearance was related to what he was investigating. Let's go. After saying hello, Liu Quanxi headed towards the direction from which the virtual spirit pressure came. However, within a few minutes, a huge phantom appeared in the sight of Liu Quanxi and others, and at this time this phantom was attacking several ordinary souls. Kill. Didn't talk nonsense. After shouting loudly, he directly pulled out Zanpakuto and slashed towards the giant virtual. PFF'd. The sword light passed by, and the giant virtual was instantly killed by Liu Quanxi. Thank you Lord Death God for your help. Seeing the giant virtual dead, those ordinary souls immediately expressed their gratitude one by one. Welcome, this is what we should do. Liu Quanxi waved his hand politely, then thinking of his mission, he quickly asked these ordinary souls. I'm here to investigate something, there were death is missing here, you know. Death is missing. After the rescued civilians glanced at each other, one of them stood up and said, Sir, we don't know about the disappearance, but some death gods did come to us not long ago, and they seem to be there for the sake of investigating the disappearance of the soul, but then these gods of death disappeared, and we don't know whether they disappeared or not. Then do you know where those gods of death went in the end? Liu Quanxi asked. I know, they went to District 65, and there was no news after that. And the place where the most souls disappeared was also District 65. Quote. Thank you very much. After getting the information he wanted, Liu Quanxi didn't stop, and rushed to District 65 with his subordinates. When the group came to District 65, they found that there were very few people here. Although the number of people in each district is different because of the different environment, there are thousands of people even in the smallest district. However, at this time, Liu Quanxi and the others found that the 65th district was very empty, and the streets were almost invisible. There were a few people, and the doors of many houses were open. Apparently no one was inside. The number of people is so small. Is it because they were killed? Thinking of this, Liu Quanxi hurriedly asked someone to ask. Excuse me, why are there so few people here? It's great that you are here, Lord Reaper. Recently, some people have been missing here. Later, some people were afraid, so they moved out. The rest are the old, weak, sick and disabled. Then do you know that a group of death gods came here before? Liu Quanxi continued to ask. I know, just yesterday, a group of death gods came to us to investigate the situation. Later, they lived outside the town. The next day they disappeared, and I don't know where they went. Thank you. Rest assured we will find the murderer. Liu Quanxi comforted. I trust you, my lord. After asking about the matter, Liu Quanxi couldn't help but think. It was missing outside the town. It seems that if you want to find clues, you have to go outside. Thinking of this, Liu Quanxi left the town with someone. It's just that the group searched outside the town for a long time and found nothing, and there was no trace of battle at all. After getting nothing, Liu Quanxi was not easy to leave. Finally, after thinking, he decided to stay here. After all, those gods of death disappeared at night, and he was going to see if something would happen at night. In this way, Liu Quanxi sent people back to Jinglingting to get some tents, and then set up camp outside the 65th district, and set up a small camp. Time passed slowly, and soon the sky had dimmed. After Liu Quanxi and the others set up a bonfire, they sat around and chatted together. Captain, you said who would do this? A member of the 9th Division asked. I guess it should be done by the god of death. If it's virtual, it can't be done so cleanly. And those ordinary souls didn't hear the sound of the fight. Obviously, the battle ended quickly. It seems that the strength of the person who shot is not weak, very strong. It may be the existence of a senior officer. Liu Quanxi analyzed. Then it seems that we have to be more careful. The words of the officer level are not so easy to deal with. A death god said solemnly. The shikai of the chief officer is all kinds of strange, and may even threaten the captain level powerhouse. Therefore, even if the captain level powerhouse is not aware of the details of the opponent, he must be cautious when facing the chief officer. Chapter 1468 Conspiracy below. It was too late. Liu Quanxi and others did not continue to stay outside, leaving 2 people to watch the night outside, and the others returned to their tents to rest. Time passed minute by minute, and soon it was late at night. Ono-kun, do you think the murderer will appear tonight? Outside the tent, 2 gods of death chatted around the bonfire. I don't think it's enough. With the captain here, how could the murderer have the courage to shoot? While the 2 of them were talking, they didn't notice that a person had come out of the woods on the side. The man made no sound as he walked, and it was dark all around, because the 2 gods of death who were watching the night did not notice him. PFF'd. Suddenly, a blade stabbed out from Ono's neck. At this time, Ono's face was blank, and he didn't know what happened. Seeing this scene, the god of death sitting across from Ono was stunned. As the blade was pulled out, a large amount of blood spurted out from the wound, and Ono's body fell to the ground. As blood splattered on the death god's face, he finally came back to his senses, and just as he was about to say something, there was a flash of sword light in front of his eyes. PFF'd. Ah! With a scream, the death god also fell to the ground. What's going on? Hearing the sound, the first Liu Quanxi hurriedly ran out of the tent, and at the same time several other gods of death were also driven out of the tents where they lived. What? Looking at the 2 corpses lying beside the bonfire, Liu Quanxi's pupils shrank. Just when Liu Quanxi was about to find the murderer, his eyes suddenly turned black. At this moment, he almost lost all 5 senses. The sudden change made Liu Quanxi unable to react at all, and then a blade stabbed into his body from behind him. Boom! Liu Quanxi only had time to burst out his spiritual pressure, and the next moment he passed out. PFF'd. This knife directly hit Liu Quanxi, and as the blade was pulled out of the body, Liu Quanxi's body fell straight to the ground. The person who severely damaged Liu Quanxi did not stop. After solving Liu Quanxi, he shot at others. Soon the subordinates brought by Liu Quanxi were destroyed by the group, but not everyone died. Yes, some were just seriously injured. No, the Reiatsu of Captain Liu Kensai just appeared in Liuhun Street, but it just disappeared in an instant. Even if we probe, we can't find the Reiatsu of Captain Liu Kensai. The god of death, who was in charge of monitoring the situation in Liuhun Street, shouted loudly. The Vigil's chief officer level powerhouse heard the words and knew that something was a big deal. A captain level death god might be in danger, which was not something he could solve. Continue to monitor the spiritual pressure situation. I will inform the captain now. After speaking, the death god hurriedly left. At the same time, Dong Shenyao's house. Although it was already late at night, Dong Shenyao rarely rested, but sat in the living room sipping tea. After learning that Liu Quanxi took people to Liuhun Street to investigate the situation, he knew that the plot of the original book was about to be staged, and it was destined to be unable to calm down tonight, so he did not rest, but waited. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door, although the sound was not loud, but because it was night and the surroundings were silent, the knock on the door was particularly loud and came from a long distance. Sure enough, something happened. Hearing the hurried knock on the door, Dong Shenyao put down the teacup, then walked out of the yard and opened the door. The captain is not good. Something has happened. Seeing that it was his own captain who opened the door, the officer-level death god who came to report the message hurriedly shouted. Don't be in a hurry to speak slowly. What happened? Dong Shenyao asked. My lord, just now we found out that Captain Liu Kensai's spiritual pressure broke out in Liuhun Street, but it disappeared in an instant, and after careful investigation, we couldn't find the spiritual pressure of Liu Kensai captain. Well, I know the matter. You go back first and continue to monitor the situation in Liuhun Street. Yes. The god of death knew that he no longer needed to worry about this matter, so he went back directly. And Dong Shenyao didn't disturb Bachenliu, and went to the first team alone. As the commander-in-chief, Yamamoto Yuanyujai Shigekuni can definitely be regarded as a very rich man, or in other words, his status is not bad at all. However, Captain Yamamoto did not buy a house outside, but directly lived in the first team building. The reason for this is that Yamamoto Yuanyujai Shigekuni has no relatives, and he lives alone wherever he lives. In order to be able to respond to emergencies at any time, Captain Yamamoto has always lived in the first team. Although it was already late at night, something big happened, and Dong Shenyao had to disturb the captain. Soon, Captain Yamamoto was alerted, and then met Tashinyao in the office. Dongshin-kun, did you come to see me so late? Did something important happen? The captain knew that if it was a normal matter, Dong Shenyao couldn't come to him in the middle of the night, so his expression was a little dignified. Yes, not long ago, the commander-in-chief, our 12th Division detected a change in the spiritual pressure of Liu Quanxi. Dong Shenyao didn't hide it, and directly told the story. That's it. Wen Yan, the commander-in-chief's brows slightly wrinkled. It is related to the life and death of a captain-level god of death. This is not a trivial matter, but after thinking for a moment, he has a plan. Immediately, the commander-in-chief ordered someone to summon all the captains. Soon the captains of the Gotei 13 team rushed to the first team, even Urahara Kazuki, because his position was equivalent to the captain, and he belonged to the Gotei 13 team, so this kind of thing he is also coming. At this time, the hearts of these captains are full of doubts, and I don't know why the captain of the big night brought them here. Everyone, I know you all have some doubts, but the matter is urgent, so to make a long story short, today I sent Liu Quanxi to Liuhun Street to investigate some things, but now it seems that something has happened to him, so I will send some people to check. Situation. Quote. After hearing the captain's words, the expressions of everyone present became a little dignified. It's not good news that a captain-level powerhouse has an accident in the corpse soul world. Fengchao Lujiro, Hiroko Mako, and Aikawa Luowu, I will trouble you three to go to Liuhun Street to check the situation. As for the specific information, you can ask Dong Shenyao. Yes. Because of the emergency, after taking the order, Feng Xiaolojuro and the three quickly looked at Dong Shenyao. Chapter 1469 Phantom Trio. After seeing Feng Xiaolojuro and the three looking at him, Dong Shenyao quickly told the information he knew. Judging from the location of the Reiatsu from the west of Liuchequan, it should be around the 65th district in the east of Liuhun Street. The time for the Reiatsu to appear is very short, and it even disappears in less than a second, so I speculate, Liu Quanxi may have been killed in seconds. Quote. Spike. As Dong Shenyao's voice fell, everyone present was stunned. To kill a captain-level powerhouse in seconds, even if Liu Quanxi's strength is not the top among the captains, it is not something that everyone can do. At this time, the commander's brows wrinkled unconsciously. He didn't know the news just now, but now that he knew it, he was a little worried. Just sent Feng Xiaolojuro and three people to really be able to deal with the enemy. Just when everyone was surprised, they only heard Dong Shenyao continue. Although I speculate that Liu Quanxi was killed in an instant, but this does not mean that the enemy's strength is really strong, because it may also be a sneak attack. Let Liu Quanxi be killed in an instant. Quanxi didn't react. After hearing Dong Shenyao's explanation, everyone immediately breathed a sigh of relief, but they did not relax completely. Feng Xiaolojuro, although Liu Quanxi may have been attacked, you have to be careful. I know, Captain Chief. Hirako Mako and the three nodded hurriedly. After thinking about it, the commander-in-chief was still a little worried. I'll find a few more helpers for you. After speaking, the commander-in-chief directly ordered people to find the big ghost chief and the deputy ghost chiefs of the ghosts. As the leaders of the ghost Taoists, the big ghost Taoist and the two are naturally very good at ghost Tao, and in terms of strength, they are not even worse than the captain-level powerhouse. Because of the emergency, when the two leaders of the ghost Taoists arrived, the commander-in-chief told them what happened and let the 5 people leave. The 5 captain-level powerhouses did not look for anyone else after leaving the first team, and left Saraiti and rushed to the place where Liu Chequan and Zilingyu disappeared. As for Dong Shenyao and others, they left separately, but the captain also said that everyone should be ready to fight at any time. Ujawali and Yi did not go home again, but went directly with Dong Shenyao. But just as Urahara Kazuki was about to go home, Ta Shenyao stopped him. Urahara-kun, wait a minute. Is there something wrong with Tashin-kun? Urahara Kazuki asked. Urahara-kun, I'm afraid that something happened to Hirako Mako and the others, so you should go and see too. Well, I see. Urahara Kazuki agreed directly, but instead of setting off immediately, he went back to the 12th Division to prepare things. At the same time, Dong Shenyao and Yi and 2 girls went home directly. Sean, Tashin-kun, do you think Hirako Mako and his guys will really have an accident? Ujawali asked curiously. She didn't understand why Ta Shenyao was worried and even asked Urahara Kazuki to go over. Close hollow corner bracket. It may be because this matter is not simple, and it may even be a huge conspiracy. And it's not just Urahara Kazuki, I have to go and see it. What? When Yanye or 2 women were suddenly startled. Okay, don't be so surprised, I'll go take a look, it's better if there's no danger. I can help if it's really dangerous. Then let's go too, Yi suggested. No, you two have other things to do. Dong Shenyao vetoed. Oh, Tashin-kun doesn't know what you want us to do. Asked Hanaritsu Uno. I hope you can help me put on a play. After Hirako Mako and the other 5 left Saranjay, they rushed to District 65 as fast as they could, but halfway along the way, the leader of the ghost priests, Gilling Tizai, stopped. You go first. What are you going to do? Hirako Mako asked, frowning. Let's go separately, so that if we get caught in an ambush, we won't be wiped out. Walling Tizai explained. Okay. In this way, the 5 split into 2 groups. The speed of the 4 of Hirako Mako was faster, and they arrived at the destination first, but the 4 of them had just arrived, and before they could check the situation, suddenly a virtual spiritual pressure appeared, and then a figure rushed out of the darkness. Boom! Hiroko Mako took the lead and drove the attackers back with a knife. Everyone, be careful, it's false. Hiroko Mako reminded after feeling the fluctuation of spiritual pressure. In fact, without him saying it, everyone else has already prepared Shunpo for the battle. The clouds in the sky moved slowly, and the moonlight fell on the ground. With the help of the cold moonlight, Hiroko Mako could see who was attacking him. He is. After seeing the person who attacked him, Hiroko Mako couldn't help but widen his eyes. Although the man's face was covered by a mask, from his clothing and body shape, Hiroko Mako had already recognized that this is Liuch Quanchi. What's going on? How could Liuch Quanchi become empty? At this time, Hiroko Mako was full of doubts, but before he could think about it, Liuch Quanchi had already shot again. Boom! After one blow, Hiroko Mako was forced back. No way, because he found out that the opponent was Liuch Quanchi, he couldn't make a heavy hand at all. At the same time, Aikawa Luowu and others also recognized Liuch Quanchi. What do I do now? Fengchao Luzhiro asked. Let's subdue Liuch Kenshi first, and then bring him back to Saraiti to investigate slowly. Hiroko Mako said calmly. Then please hold on to Liuch Quanchi for the time being, and I'll prepare to bind the way. Yu Zhaoshan Boxwan, the deputy chief of the ghosts, reminded. No problem, leave it to us. After speaking, the three of Hiroko Mako were about to shoot, and at this moment, two more figures rushed out of the darkness, and the two of them also exuded a virtual spiritual pressure. Also, thanks to the example of Liuch Kenshi 5.0, at this time, Hiroko Mako and the others did not treat the new enemy as ordinary. Bang! Bang! After resisting the attack of the two, Hiroko Mako and the others took the opportunity to watch, and quickly recognized the two. It's Hiyori and Ju Nanbai. Damn, what's going on? Why did they become virtual? At this time, Hiroko Mako was going crazy. Although Hiyori often bullies him, it doesn't mean that he hates Hiyori. On the contrary, it is precisely because he likes Hiyori that he allows Hiyori to bully him. Otherwise, how could a dignified captain-level powerhouse be bullied by a vice-captain? Whoever dares to hurt Hiyori, Hiroko Mako, will never end with him. Boom! The three spirit pressures complemented each other, and the three of Liuch Quanchi launched an attack again. Chapter 1470 Seal. Although the strength of the three men of Liuch Quanchi has improved after the virtualization, in particular, Ju Nanbai and the two girls of Hiyori have improved more because of their low basic strength. Among them, Hiyori was originally a powerhouse at the vice-captain level. At this time, his combat power has already reached the captain level after the blur. Although Ju Nanbai is a little worse, he has reached the level of vice-captain. However, the four of Hiroko and Mako were not given for nothing, all of them were captain-level powerhouses. If they really fought, they could definitely eliminate the three of Liuch Quanchi. It's just that the four of Hiroko Mako couldn't fight. At this time, they were facing their former colleagues. Although the three men of Liuch Quanchi had become virtual, but Hiroko Mako and the others still didn't want to kill them, because they still had an idea. That is to find a way to remove the virtual reality of the three men of Liuch Quanchi. It was precisely because the four of Hiroko Mako were a little timid, so after the fight, they were suppressed by the three of Liuch Quanchi. Come out, I've already found you. In a wood, Huling Tejai stopped, then turned to look behind him and said. But there was silence in the woods at this time, and nothing happened. It seems that you don't want to come out anymore, so let me ask you to come out. After speaking, Shaling Tishai pointed his finger at a big tree. Broken down number 4, Bai Lei. Whoosh. I saw a beam of light shoot out from the fingers of Raitsusai. Although it was only the number 4 way to break the Tao, and even gave up singing, this beam of light is about the thickness of 2 fingers, far stronger than the Bai Lei used by others. From this, it can be seen that this big ghost Taoist is not white. It is given, able to lead the ghosts, far surpassing other death gods in the cultivation of ghosts. Bang! This blow directly pierced the tree trunk, and just before that, a figure had jumped out from behind the tree trunk. As expected of a big ghost, he is really powerful. I asked myself that I was well hidden. How did you find me? While speaking, the man slightly lifted the hat on his head, and suddenly revealed a small half of it. Face, but this is enough, and the Ling Tejai recognizes the person. It's you, Director of the Technology Development Bureau, Urahara Kazuki. He was taken aback when he saw the person coming. Urahara Kazuki is also regarded as a celebrity among Seraiti, not to mention that his status is comparable to that of the captain. His achievements over the years alone should not be underestimated. After the Technology Development Bureau became independent, Dong Xinyao seldom intervened in their work. Under the leadership of Urahara Kazuki, the Technology Development Bureau continued to grow and developed a lot of very practical instruments, which made Toro many gods of death in the spirit court remembered Kazuki Urahara. It's me, but don't misunderstand the big ghost, I have no malicious intentions. Urahara Kazuki quickly spread his hands and said. Urahara Kazuki was noncommittal. He just looked at him for a moment and said, a cloak that can cover up Reiatsu, as expected of the director of the Technology Development Bureau, has such a skill. If it wasn't for my ghost path, I'm afraid it wouldn't be at all. Couldn't find you. By the way, I still don't know how you found me, the big ghost priest. Urahara Kazuki asked again. Because I suspected that the matter of Liuch Kensai was done by insiders of Seraiti, so when I left Seraiti, I set up a ghost way. As long as someone came out, it would be triggered. Although you covered up Reiatsu, you touched the ghost path I left behind, so I discovered you. It's just that I don't know what your purpose is, so I didn't make a statement. Explained Jiro Tejai. I see, it's also because of me that you deliberately separated from the others. That's right. Garashi Tetsusai confirmed Kazuki Urahara's guess, and continued, speak your purpose. Don't say anything about misunderstanding, I don't believe it. This is really a misunderstanding. Urahara Kazuki said with a wry smile, and then he explained quickly without waiting for Shilling Tetsuhai to speak. I was under the order of Captain Toshin to support you, but I think you are walking alone, afraid of meeting you. Dangerous, that's why I will follow you. Captain Dongshin, you mean Dongshinyao, the captain of the 12th Division? Guling Tizai asked after squinting slightly. Yes. Then why did he let you come? His actions have violated the laws of the Seraiti. Warei Tetsuai asked seriously. Because he's worried that you won't be able to handle it. Actually, I don't understand it either. It's just who made him my immediate boss. Urahara Kazuki said helplessly. Okay. I believe you for the time being, but I'll personally confirm it to Captain Toshin when I return to Saranjay. No problem. Urahara Kazuki didn't care, he didn't lie anyway. Because he still had a task to do, Gurutsusai didn't waste any more time, and directly called Kazuki Urahara to rush to District 65. Damn. At this time, Aichuan Luowu couldn't help cursing. It was too embarrassing, because he was afraid of seriously hurting Dao Liuch Quanxi and the others, so now Aichuan Luowu and others are a little restrained when they fight, which makes them very uncomfortable. Suffer. Everyone, it's not the way to continue like this, let's break them one by one. Ju Nanbai is the weakest, let's take her down first. Feng Chao Lujiro suggested. That's a good idea. Then I'll trouble Captain Hirako and Captain Aikawa Rao to block Liuch Kensai and Hiyori first. Don't let them affect me. Captain Fengchalo 547 assist me. I'll be ready to tie the road for a long time Nanbai. Jiaoshan Boxwan suggested. Okay, please, the deputy ghost priest. After speaking, Hirako Mako and Aikawa Luowu desperately entangled Liuch Quanxi and at the same time tried to pull them away, farther away from Jinnanbai. It is still easy to deal with a Ju Nanbai alone. With Fengchao Lujiro's strength, he quickly suppressed Ju Nanbai. If it wasn't for the fear of hurting her, Fengchao Lujiro would not be able to play hard, the battle would have already ended. Taking this opportunity, Jiaoshan Boxwan began to prepare to bind the road. The thunderous carriage, the gap in the spinning wheel, this thing is clustered with light and divided into 6 The 61 Bondage, the 6-stick light prison. After Yu Zhaoshan Bokshuan's singing ended, the 6 paths light sheet appeared around Ju Nanbai, and the next moment the light sheet closed, directly binding Ju Nanbai. Immediately afterwards, Zhaoshan Bokshuan continued to use the tie to create a long chain to bind Kunanbai. Get it done. After temporarily suppressing Jinanbai, Arita Hakugan and Hengqiao Luzhiro began to shift their targets. The persimmon is the first to pick the soft one, so this time Hiyori is the target chosen by Akita Bokshuan. Although Hiyori is stronger than Kunanbai, but when facing Hirako Meiko and Fengqiao Luzhiro at the same time still not an opponent. Chapter 1471 Black Hand Now. Hirako Meiko and Fengqiao Luzhiro fought against Hiyori at the same time. Even if Hiyori's strength increased, and he had to keep his hand in order not to hurt her, it was still easy to suppress Hiyori with the strength of the two. On the other hand, Aikawa Luowu was struggling to fight Liu Quanqi alone at this time. Hurry up and help, I can't hold on for long. Aikawa Luowu shouted. Just hold on, we'll be done here soon. Hirako Meiko responded, which made Aikawa Luowu heave a sigh of relief. Just when Hirako Meiko and the two were suppressing Hiyori, Akita Bogan methodically prepared to bind the way. Although Tsuruuki Hiyori is stronger, it is not impossible to seal her. After all, the Vice Ghost Way, the long name, is not blown out. Although the Ghost Path has various shortcomings, the advantages are also obvious, that is, it is powerful. It can be said that if Zhaoshan Bokshuan is given enough time, he will not be afraid even if he faces 2 or 3 captain-level powerhouses at the same time. However, this is obviously impossible. It takes time to use ghosts. Although you can give up singing, it will reduce the power. Therefore, Zhaoshan Bokshuan's current strength is similar to that of ordinary captains. Soon, with the cooperation of Hirako Meiko and the two of them, Hiyori was successfully sealed, and at this moment, a figure flew out. Bang! After the figure fell to the ground, a puff of dust was raised. Luowu, are you okay? Fengqiao Luzhiro asked worriedly. It was Aichuan Luowu who just flew out. When there was no blur, Aichuan Luowu's strength was similar to that of Liu Quanqi. At this time, Liu Quanqi was blurred and his strength increased greatly. Naturally, it was not Aichuan Luo. Wu can't stop it. But in the end as the captain, although the injury is not serious. Roar. After a roar, Liu Quan went straight to Aikawa Luowu to attack. Seeing this, Hirako Meiko and Fengqiao Luzhiro hurriedly stopped him, and the battle started immediately. Hirako Meiko and the three teamed up to fight against Aikawa Luowu. Under the circumstance of concern, even if the three of them joined forces to suppress Aikawa Luowu, it would be somewhat difficult, while Akita Bogan stood by and prepared to bind the road. Golden Brilliance, Vicious Python. Chains, bind him. The 63 ways of binding, chains and chains. The chant ended soon after, and Zhaoshan Bokshuan reached out and grabbed it, and saw a chain emitting a golden light condensed out of thin air, and then flew out like a python. After realizing that Aoshan Bokshuan made a move, the three of Hirako Meiko quickly stepped back to avoid being affected. Liu Quanqi, who soon lost his mind, was bound by golden chains. Did it work? See this scene. Hirako Meiko and others were a little nervous. Although the number 63 binding road is not small, they are now facing a virtual captain. Roar. Liu Quanqi roared angrily, and then suddenly struggled hard, only to hear a bang. The golden chains turned into countless fragments and scattered, and these fragments soon dissipated into the air. Not good. Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked. It seems that number 63 can't bind the road. Do you have any other way, Deputy Ghost Priest? Fengqiao Luzhiro asked. Yes, I can use a stronger binding path, but I have to trouble you to continue to entangle Liu Quanqi. Okay, but hurry up. While speaking, the three of them had already fought with Liu Quanqi again. This time, in order to successfully seal Liu Quanqi, Yu Zhaoshan Bokshuan also used the trick of pressing the bottom of the box. 99th of the binding road, forbidden. Yu Zhaoshan Bokshuan also tried his best, and directly used the binding road number 99. This is already the top binding road, and if it reaches the number 100, it can be regarded as forbidden technique. The ghosts are ranked according to their power, starting from number 1, and the highest number has exceeded 100. Among them, number 30 can be regarded as low-level ghosts, number 60 is an intermediate ghost, and number 90 is a high-level ghost. Dao, reaching number 90 is the top ghost road. Most of the ordinary death gods are only masters of low-level ghosts. Most of the high-ranking officials can master intermediate ghosts, and only some of the seniors who are good at ghosts will have some high-level ghosts. As for the top ghosts, not everyone can do it even if it is a captain-level powerhouse. And the top ghosts can even threaten the captain-level powerhouses. If it is a top-level crack, the power is no weaker than some captain's bankai. And there is another level above the top ghost road, that is, forbidden technique, which is the ghost road that reaches number 100. The reason why the ghost above the number 100 is the forbidden technique is not because Seo Lingting is not allowed to use it, but one of the reasons is that the cultivation of the ghost above the number 100 is difficult, and the spiritual power consumed when using it is even more fearful. At this time, Zhaoshan Boxuan was out of breath after just using a number 99 bondage, and even with the lowest forbidden technique, the spiritual power that the number 100 ghost path needs to consume is the number 99 bondage. 3 times as much as Dao. If the general captain level powerhouse uses it, it will be backlashed. In the history of Seoringe, there are many gods of death who failed to use the ghosts above the number 100, and finally died of backlash. It is precisely because of this danger that the ghosts above the number 100 are called for the forbidden technique. After Yu Zhaoshan Boxuan finished singing, I saw several black ribbon-like things appearing behind Liu Quanqi, directly binding him, and then a huge force crushed Liu Quanqi to the ground. Bang, bang, bang. Nails fell, directly nailing the black ribbon to the ground. After a few seconds, everything subsided. At this time, Liu Quanqi was fixed on the ground, and it was useless to let him struggle. As expected of the bond road closest to the forbidden technique, it's really amazing. Seeing this scene, Hirako Mako and others were amazed. The number 99 bond path, few people in the entire Seorange were able to break free. Of course, although the power of binding the road is not small, the premise is that it can hit the enemy. If it wasn't for the fact that Liu Quanqi was entangled by Fengqiao Luzhiro and the others just now, and he lost his mind, it would not be easy for the bound road of Zhaoshan Boxuan to hit Liu Quanqi. As expected of the deputy ghost priest, even the number 99 bondage can give up singing. Hirako Mako exclaimed. It's a bit reluctant, this is the first time I have succeeded. Yu Zhaoshan Boxuan said happily. He had also practiced abandoning singing before, but he had been failing. This time, perhaps because of the emergency, under huge pressure, there was a breakthrough, so it was successful. Just when Hirako Mako and the others were about to take a break, the next moment they found that it was dark. Chapter 1472 The Big Boss appears. Just when Aikawa Luowu was sealed and Fengqiao Luzhiro and the others were about to take a break, they suddenly found that it was dark. That's right, it's dark. Although it's late at night, there is still some light because of the moon. But at this time, several people found that it was pitch black in front of them, and the real thing was that they couldn't see their fingers. The sudden change made several people stunned. What's going on here? Soon everyone came back to their senses. At this time, they had realized that they had been tricked, otherwise why would the surroundings suddenly turn black? PFF'd. A sharp blade did not enter Yu Zhaoshan Boxuan's body, and a single blow severely injured him. When the sharp blade was pulled out of his body, Yu Zhaoshan Boxuan fell to the ground. Immediately afterwards, Aikawa Luowu and others were not spared, and all were attacked. In this darkness, everyone's vision, hearing, and sense of smell have all failed, so it is impossible to resist the attack from the dark. Soon the darkness disappeared, and the moonlight reappeared. At this time, only Hirako Mako was still awake, and all the others had passed out. It's you. Looking at the man in front of him, Hirako Mako couldn't help widening his eyes. It's Captain Hirako Mako. I didn't expect you to be in a coma. The man sighed in shock. At this time, Hiroko Mako was also terrified. If he hadn't sensed a dangerous aura at the critical moment, so his body dodged a bit, so if he was not hit, he would have passed out like the others at this time. Does Dongxian want you to do all this? Why did you betray your captain? Hiroko Mako asked loudly. Captain Hiroko, you are wrong. I didn't betray Captain Liuch Kensai. Because there is no loyalty, how can I betray? I have never been loyal to Liuch Kenshi from the beginning to the end. Dongxian said in a calm tone. That's right, he's right, because from the very beginning he was loyal to me. At this time, a voice familiar to Hiroko Mako rang out, and then there was only a sound of footsteps, and two figures walked out of the woods came out. It's you. Turning his head to look, Hiroko Mako immediately recognized the person. That's right, Captain Hiroko is me, and we meet again. Aizen Soyusuke greeted with a smile on his face. You really have a problem. Hiroko Mako glared at Aizen and said. Haha, have you noticed? I know you've always been wary of me. Aizen chuckled lightly. Yes, I transferred you to be the vice captain to monitor you, but it seems that I still lost. Hiroko Mako said in a depressed mood. He didn't expect that Aizen could do so many things under his own monitoring, which made him quite shocked. This is normal, because it has been doomed from the beginning that you are the one who loses. Aizen said with a proud face. HMPH. Aizen, don't think that you are very powerful this time. If it wasn't for my carelessness, I wouldn't let you find a chance. Hiroko Mako said unwillingly. Captain Pingzi, you were wrong. It's not that you were careless, it's that you didn't watch me from the beginning. Do you think the person you're monitoring is really me? When Yanpingzi Junzi's face changed slightly, and then he asked loudly, what do you mean? As the one who's been with you all the time. Speaking of this, Aizen smiled disdainfully, and continued, most of the time, the person who's by your side is just my stand-in. Impossible. How can there be someone in the world who looks so similar to you? Hiroko Mako asked in shock. Who says you have to look like you can be a stand-in? Just make people look like me. That's my ability. I can freely control what other people see. That's my Zanpakuto ability. I call it for total hypnosis. At this time, Aizen seemed to see that the overall situation was settled, and he was proud of his ability and directly stated his abilities. Of course, in his opinion, even if his abilities are known, it doesn't matter, because his abilities are almost incomprehensible, unless he is a blind person like Dongxian. Otherwise, as long as he is caught in the mirror, he will not be able to fight against him, even if the same goes for knowing your own abilities. Of course, Aizen didn't forget the fact that his ability was broken in Liuhun Street, but he didn't investigate who the god of death who attacked him was, so he had selectively forgotten about it. Completely hypnotized. You are biased against everyone. Hiroko Mako said with wide eyes. That's right, it is because of this that I can do whatever I want. And thank you, Captain Hiroko, because you are wary of me, you have never understood me, so I am using a stand-in. When you can't find anomalies. Speaking of this, Lan Ran smiled proudly, and then continued, I have long noticed that you are wary of me, but this is exactly what my plan needs, so I will agree to be your vice captain, otherwise I have the right to refuse. I would also like to thank you, Captain Hiroko, for giving me more time to do other things, as well as a perfect alibi. After hearing Aizen's words, Hiroko Mako couldn't help clenching his fists. He felt that he was an idiot. It turned out that everything was under Aizen's control. He thought he mastered everything, but in fact he was just a pawn. How is it? Are you unwilling? But don't worry, you won't think about these things anymore soon. Seeing the smug look on Aizen's face, Hiroko Mako wanted to step on his face, but just as he was about to do so, his expression suddenly changed. Boom! An empty spiritual pressure emerged from Hiroko Mako, and the next moment his face was covered with a mask. Not good. Hiroko Mako was startled. At this moment, he only felt that another consciousness appeared in his heart. This meaning was full of tyranny, and he was even going to devour him. At the same time, Akawa Luowu and others also had a virtual spiritual pressure on their bodies, and at this moment, the virtualization began. Bastard, I'm going to kill you. With a loud roar, Hirako Mako tried her best to suppress the emptiness in her body, and then rushed straight to Aizen. Yes, as expected of the person I liked, he can temporarily suppress the blur, which is very powerful. Aizen praised, but he had no intention of dodging in the face of Hirako Mako's attack, and he had no intention of taking action. When the symphony of gold and iron sounded, and the two Zanpakuto collided together. Chapter 1473 Repel Aizen Part 1. When the symphony of gold and iron sounded, and Hirako Mako's attack was blocked, but it was not Aizen who shot, but Toxian Yao. Captain Hirako, your opponent is me. Humph. Dongxian wants you to stop me. Pingzi Junzi said disdainfully. Yeah, then I'm going to give it a try. After speaking, Dongxian was about to take the shot first. Dang dang. The symphony of gold and iron continued to sound, and the two fought to one place. Different from the battle just now, there is no need to have the slightest scruples in the face of Dongxian to ask Hirako Mako, so the strength of the whole body broke out completely. It has been more than 10 years since he became a captain-level powerhouse. Naturally, his strength is not comparable to Dongxian. It didn't take long for Dongxian to be forced back by Hirako Mako. I said, you can't stop me. Hirako Mako said coldly, and after he finished speaking, his eyes fell on Aizen. Clap, clap, underscore. Yes, I didn't expect you to be able to persist for such a long time without being corroded by the virtual. It's beyond my expectations, but that's the end of it. While speaking, Aizen walked towards Hirako Mako. At this time, Mako Hirako was about to make a move, but at this moment, the emptiness in the body rioted again, which made Mako Hirako very painful, and could only resist the emptiness in the body as much as possible, which made him unable to care about the blue dye for a while. Captain Hirako, thank you for taking care of me during this time, and now let me take you on the last ride. Aizen slowly pulled out Zanpakuto from her waist while speaking. Just when Aizen was about to kill Hirako Mako, he suddenly noticed a wave of spiritual pressure behind him, which surprised him. At the same time, I saw a figure jumping out of the darkness, waving Zanpakuto and heading straight for Aizen to attack. As the attack came too suddenly, although Aizen had already noticed it, she still did not completely escape. Hey! The sound of clothes breaking sounded, and the clothes on Aizen's arms were torn. The sneak attack did not continue to shoot, but stopped and looked directly at Aizen. Interesting, I didn't expect someone to come again. Looking at the man who had just attacked him, the corner of Aizen's mouth twitched. Tattoo. Footsteps sounded, and another person came out of the darkness. I didn't expect that it was you who planned all this, the vice captain of the 5th Division, Sosuke Aizen. Kazuki Urahara said in surprise, looking at the man with glasses and a refined temperament in front of him. Are you surprised? I didn't expect you, the director of the Technology Development Bureau, to come here. I can't help it, my immediate boss asked me to come, so I can only come here. But it seems that this arrangement is just right, otherwise it is impossible to see such a big show. Yes, this is indeed a good show, but unfortunately, there is a price to pay for watching the show. Urahara-kun, are you ready to pay the price? Oh, it seems that you plan to stay with us. Urahara Kazuki raised his eyebrows and said. Of course, since you saw me, do you think I will let you all go back to the spiritual court? Speaking of this, Aizen's eyes showed a trace of killing intent. Urahara Kazuki didn't speak anymore, just narrowed his eyes slightly and clenched the Zanpakuto in his hand at the same time. Sir, let me come, I am the sharp blade in your hand, I will cut all obstacles for you. At this time, Dongxian was about to speak. Although he suffered a loss in the battle with Hirako Mako just now, he was not injured. No, I'll do it myself this time. While speaking, Aizen walked towards Urahara Kazuki. Seeing Aizen walking towards him in a carefree manner, Kazuki Urahara was taken aback, and he didn't understand what he was doing. What is the conspiracy of Aizen? Just as Urahara Kazuki was thinking, Aizen was only a few meters away from him. Huh! With a flash of sword light, Aizen slashed towards Urahara Kazuki with a knife. Seeing this scene, Urahara Kazuki didn't have time to think about it, so he quickly raised his sword to parry, but the next moment his face changed suddenly. What's going on? Urahara Kazuki was stunned, because his knife had failed, and he swiped directly from Aizen's body. However, this blow did not hurt Aizen, because he found that the Aizen he was facing now was like an image, with no entity at all. PFF'd. Suddenly Kazuki Urahara's arm was scratched, and Aizen came to him at some point and injured him. When Urahara Kazuki's pupils shrank, he thought he was not weak, but he didn't find out when Aizen came to him. Whoosh! Without waiting for Aizen to attack Urahara Kazuki again, he retreated. Sometimes what the eyes see is not necessarily true. Urahara-kun, what do you think? Aizen said with a smile. You're right, it seems that there is something wrong with my eyes. Although he said that, Urahara Kazuki still did not have the ability to see through Aizen completely. Although he had already speculated that it might be related to his sight, he just on that image, I could really feel the spiritual pressure of Aizen, which cannot be faked. Could it be that not only vision, but also perception of Reiatsu can be affected? After all, it was Kazuki Urahara, and his mind turned so fast that he quickly thought of a possibility. Urahara-kun, this time, I won't hold back. While speaking, Aizen walked towards Urahara Kazuki again. At this time, Urahara Kazuki's face was solemn, because he couldn't judge whether the Aizen in front of him was real or not. The 31. Red Cannon. At this time, the grip of Ling Tejai shot, and I saw a fireball flying out from the palm of his hand. Whoosh! Boom! The fireball passed through Aizen's body, and finally fell to the ground and exploded. Fake. After seeing this scene, Kazuki Urahara could be sure that the Aizen he saw at this time was fake, but he couldn't find where the real Aizen was. Just as Urahara Kazuki was thinking about how to find Aizen, suddenly a symphony of gold and iron came from behind him. When? What? Urahara Kazuki was shocked, and then quickly left the place. When Urahara Kazuki stopped, he saw a man in a black robe appeared where he was standing before. At this time, this man was confronting Aizen. It's you. After seeing the black-robed man, Aizen's expression finally changed, the previous smile disappeared, replaced by solemnity. That's right, it's me, Aizen, and we meet again. At this time, the man in black robe seemed to have seen an old friend, but Aizen was not happy. Damn, why did he show up again? Chapter 1474. Repel Aizen below. Since the loss in Liuhun Street that year, Aizen has not forgotten this matter. After all, this is the first person to crack his mirror, which naturally impressed him. Although Aizen had never seen the person who defeated him, he still recognized it at a glance. The man in black robe he was facing at this time was the one who defeated him in the first place, because Aizen didn't think that he was the only one who defeated him. In addition, there is no one else in Jinglingting who can break his mirror, and the words of the man in black robe undoubtedly confirm his guess. Just now, Aizen was about to attack Urahara Kazuki from behind, but he didn't expect that the attack was blocked by the man in black robe who suddenly rushed out. Aizen, your strength is improving very fast, but you are still not good at learning. HMPH. Don't think that it is very powerful to be able to crack my Jinghua Shuiyu. My strength is not just relying on Jinghua Shuiyu. After saying that, Aizen slashed and attacked the man in black robe. Good job. Facing Aizen's attack, the black-robed man did not dodge, but directly waved Zanpakuto to meet him. At this time, it was Tashinyao who was fighting Aizen. He was not at ease after Urahara Kazuki followed, so he secretly followed. After realizing that Urahara Kazuki was attacked just now, Tashinyao couldn't let him be injured, so he directly blocked Aizen. It seems that the plot has changed. In the original book, Aizen left immediately after seeing the arrival of Urahara Kazuki and the two, but now he is ready to kill and kill. Thinking of this, Dong Shenyao is a little glad that he followed, otherwise I am afraid Urahara Kazuki and the others are in danger. Although it has only been more than 10 years, Aizen's strength has grown very terrifyingly. At first, he was only the strength of an ordinary captain when he did not rely on Jinghua Shuiyu's ability, but now, Aizen's strength is only stronger than that of the veteran captain. Not weak, comparable to the peak leader, only one step away from reaching the limit of death. However, Tashinyao's strength also increased a lot, and at this time, he still suppressed Aizen without liberating Zanpakuto. Seeing that he couldn't defeat Dong Shenyao at all with his current strength, Lan Ran frowned slightly, and at the same time had a retreat in his heart. It seems that there is no way to kill people today, so I can only think of his method. Although Aizen is not weak now, but he is not ready to be the enemy of the entire Seirenge, so naturally he will let today's news spread out, otherwise he will have no place in the Seraiti, and he will not have the confidence to deal with the pursuit of the entire Seraiti at that time. Boom. After Aizen and Dong Shenyao fought each other, they retreated violently with the help of the anti-shock force, and then did not care to suppress the shocking chi and blood, and hurriedly greeted Dong Xianyao and Shi Silvermaru, withdraw. Whoosh whoosh. The three went straight to the depths of the woods. Don't try to run. At this time, Shaolin Taijai shouted, and then he stretched out his palm to face Aizen. The 88th, Flying Dragon Strikes Thief, Thunder Cannon. Boom. A light from the power of lightning, Jinchuriki column, headed straight for the three of Aizen. Although he had given up singing, but as the great ghost priest of the ghost priests, the power of this attack by Huling Tizai was not much worse than that of other people after singing, and it was enough to threaten the captain-level powerhouse. The 81 boundaries, breaking the space. The spiritual power gathered and turned into a huge wall to block behind Aizen. Boom. When the light Jinchuriki column bombarded the wall, an explosion sounded, followed by a wave of air. It's actually blocked. Seeing this scene, Huling Taijai couldn't help but widen his eyes, even he was not sure that he could block the blow with the emptiness without giving up his singing. When the aftermath dissipated and the dust settled, the three of Aizen had disappeared. The wounded are handed over to you. After speaking, Tashinyao disappeared into the woods without giving Urahara Kazuki a chance to speak. Urahara-kun, do you know who this person is? Grim Tetsuhai asked with a frown. I don't know, I haven't seen it before. And the voice is very unfamiliar. Even this person deliberately hides the Reiatsu, so it is impossible to judge who it is, but there are not many people in the Seirenge who can have such a strong strength. Urahara Kazuki shook his head. Yeah, this person is so strong, he will definitely not be a nameless person. As he spoke, one name came up in Wuling Taijai's mind, but in the end he denied it. Who is it? It's useless to think about it so much, let's take a look at the situation of Captain Hirako and the others. Kazuki Urahara walked towards Mako Hirako and others who had passed out in a coma. After parting with Urahara Kazuki and the others, Tashinyao returned to Seraiti as quickly as possible. At the same time, in the 12th Division, 3 captains gathered here. That's right, Dong Shenyao is also here, but the 3 of them didn't speak at this time, but sat there looking at the instrument in front of them, while the 12th Division Reaper in the room was busy with their own affairs. Suddenly Ujawali and Yi were shocked, then looked at each other and nodded. You guys continue to work here, let's go out for a walk. After saying that, Yi stood up and walked out with the other 2. After the group of 3 left the room, they soon came to a hidden place. The next moment, the ground was cracked, and then Dong Shenyao jumped out. Trouble you two? It's nothing, but does Dong Shenyao really need such trouble? Yi questioned. Of course, if I don't do this, I'm afraid I'll have some little trouble. After speaking, I saw Dong Shenyao waved his hand, and the East Shenyao, who had followed Yi and the 2 before became a 0.9. The stone man then turned into a puddle of mud, and soon disappeared into the earth. Dong Shenyao, who had been with Yi and 2 people just now, was not real, but it did not belong to the avatar technique. It was just a puppet made of rocks by Dong Shenyao, which could walk, but had no thinking and could not speak. Even the appearance was transformed by Dong Shenyao using the ghost path, otherwise this is just a stone man. However, although this is not a clone technique, it is still no problem to confuse ordinary gods of death. At least tonight, no one found that Dong Shenyao was fake. Tell me about the time when I left. Dong Shenyao asked. It's nothing, just as you said, we took your puppet around the 12th division. Chapter 1475 Rescue. It's nothing, just as you said, we took your puppet around the 12th division, and then stayed in an office of the 12th division, and many people saw it. After hearing Yi Yi's words, Dong Shenyao suddenly laughed. He would not forget that Kazuki Urahara in the original book was pitted by Aizen, because Aizen used Kyoka Suzuki to control the Central Room 46, so that the Central Room 46 had to punish Urahara Kazuki. Dong Shenyao would not make the same mistake. Now that there are so many witnesses, no one would have thought that the man in black robe who repelled Aizen turned out to be him. Okay, let's go back. I think Urahara-kun will be back soon. After speaking, Dong Shenyao went straight to the office where he just stayed. By the way, Dongshin-kun, what happened to you just now when you went out? Uno Hana-lai asked curiously. Hearing this, Dong Shenyao's face sank and said, I am afraid that there will be a big change in Jinglingting, and many captains have an accident. What? The two women were shocked when they heard that. They also participated in the meeting just now. Naturally, they knew what happened to Liu Quanqi, and also knew that the captain sent Feng Chao Luzhiro and the others to investigate. Now 21 in Dong Shenyao said that many captains had accidents, obviously referring to Feng Chao Luzhiro and the others. How is it possible? The three captains of Feng Chao Luzhiro, plus the chief and deputy ghost priests of the ghost priests, and Urahara-kun, these are 6 captains, who has the ability to attack so many of them? Yi Yi said with a shocked expression, and Mao Jiwalai was also in disbelief. Although they are very strong, Yi Yi, you have to know that it is easy to hide with open spears, and it is difficult to defend against dark arrows. Sometimes the biggest threat is not the enemies on the surface, but the enemies who cannot be seen. Dongshin Yao said earnestly. East God Kun, do you mean someone attacked them? Uzuru Hanari quickly reacted. Yes, someone set up an ambush, but to be honest, that person's own strength is very strong. Even if you don't use conspiracy and tricks to deal with Hiroko Mako and the others, it is not impossible. During the conversation, the three had returned to the office. Seeing this, Dong Shenyao did not continue to speak. We'll talk about this later. Yi Yi or two women heard that and knew that Dong Shenyao didn't want this matter to be known by others, so they didn't ask again. And just as the three entered the room, a god of death came over. My lord, someone just sent information. Not long ago, the spiritual pressure of several captains in Liuhun Street disappeared, and there was a virtual spiritual pressure. Well, I see, you can go on with your work. Yes. Yaiki and Ujawali couldn't help but glance at each other. Void's Reiatsu isn't the enemy from Seo Lingting. Why is there a void? Yi Yi and two women thought to each other at the same time. However, they also knew that now was not the time to ask about this matter, and instead said, Dong Shenyao, do you want to report this matter to the captain? This matter will trouble you, Sister Wa. Kazuki Urahara will be back in a while. I'm afraid I will need my help then, so I can't go. No problem, leave it to me. After saying that, Uzuru Hanari got up and left. Without letting Toshin Yao wait for a long time, Urano Kazuki found him not long after Uno Hanali left. Come with me. After saying that, Urahara Kazuki pulled up Toshin Yao and walked out. Urahara-kun, what's the matter? Toshin Yao asked, pretending to be puzzled. The situation is urgent, let's talk while walking. Urahara Kazuki said anxiously. Okay, said. Toshin Yao followed Urahara Kazuki to the outside, and saw this night as well. Along the way, Urahara Kazuki simply explained what he knew. That's it, we encountered Aizen's attack, and we don't know what Aizen did. Now Hiroko Mako and the others are beginning to blur. We must help them, or they may be swallowed by the void. Aizen. Dong Shenyao first showed a look of reminiscence, and then suddenly said, "You can't be talking about the vice captain of the 5th Division. Aizen Sosuke, how is it possible? He looks kind, why would do such a thing?" Dong Shenyao said with a shocked expression. "Nothing is impossible. All the previous Aizen was faked. He is a devil at all. But now is not the time to talk about him. Let's help Hirako Mako and the others to tide over the difficulties first." "Well, I see." After that, neither of them spoke again, but Yi Yi, who had been following behind, was really surprised. Aizen, he's the mastermind behind the scenes. Yi Yi didn't expect that she also had some impressions of Aizen. In her memory, Aizen was a good old man who always had a very gentle expression on his face all day long. Smile. Boss who has severely damaged several captains. Looks like Aizen deceived everyone. Not long after, Dong Shenyao followed Urahara Kazuki to the Technology Development Bureau. Although the Technology Development Bureau had gone out independently, the office was not far from the 12th Division. After entering Urahara Kazuki's exclusive laboratory, Tashinyao saw at a glance Hirako Mako and other 813 people with a virtual mask on his face. It is not unfamiliar to Dong Shenyao or Yi Yi. After all, they have seen it before. In addition to passing out a few people in a coma, Dong Shenyao also saw one person, who was the leader of the Ghost Taoists, holding Ling Tejai. "Hiratsusai, I brought Dongshin-kun, and with his help, I am more confident in saving Hirako Mako and the others," Urahara Kazuki said with a smile. "Captain Dongshin, please." As he spoke, Huling Tizai bowed deeply to Dong Shenyao. "Don't be so polite, we are all companions. Hirako Mako and the others are in danger. I will naturally do something. I think their situation is a little dangerous, so don't waste any more time. Urahara-kun, let's start." "Well, let's get started." So the two of them acted. Urahara Kazuki has already checked it before. Although Hirako Mako and the others are virtual, they are not complete, and they have not completely broken the boundary between the God of Death and the virtual, so the first thing he needs to do next is to use the Collapse Jade to completely break the boundary. And just when Dong Shenyao returned to Seirenge, Aizen, who had also returned, was thinking about one thing. Who is that person? His strength is stronger than it was more than 10 years ago. Now there are absolutely not many people in the entire Seirenge who have this kind of strength. Chapter 1476 Framed. If Aizen didn't care about being defeated in Liuhun Street more than 10 years ago, then this time, he couldn't help but ignore it. More than 10 years ago, Aizen's strength just reached the captain level, so even if he is defeated, he is not afraid, because now he has become stronger. Aizen is confident, even if he does not use Zanpakudo's ability, he is sure to defeat most of them. Captain. However, the re-emergence of the former opponent has caused Aizen to be deeply affected. In more than 10 years, he has indeed become stronger, but the opponent has also become stronger. This time he lost the battle, which made Aizen a little unbearable, especially since he still has a big plan. He will not allow it. Anyone who threatens their plans exists. This person must be found and dealt with, otherwise my plan is likely to fail. Thinking of this, Aizen began to think about who this person could be. This time, Serauti dispatched a lot of captains. These people can be ruled out, and the remaining captains are the chief captain, the second team's Shifunjin Yei, the fourth team's Ujikalai, the sixth team's Kuchiki Silverling, 8th Division's Jingle Chunchui, 10th Division's Kono Kakai, 11th Division's Ghost Yancheng Kenpachi, 12th Division's Tashinyao, and 13th Division's Ukiku 14 Lang. The commander-in-chief can be ruled out. If it is really him, then he doesn't need to cover up at all. I'm afraid he would have shot and killed me with all his strength. The 2nd Division's Saifengyuan Yei and the 4th Division's Karatsu Uno can also be ruled out. They are all female gods of death, and the one who attacked me was obviously a man. The ghost Yancheng Janpachi of the 11th team can also be ruled out. He is also a newly promoted captain, and his strength is not strong, so he cannot be my opponent. There is also Kono Kuohai of the 10th team. Although he has been the captain for a long time, his strength is not enough. Shuru Yukitaki is a sick person. Although his strength is not bad, he always coughs and his constitution is not good. Obviously, he will not be the one who attacked me. There is also Dong Shenyao. Although he is very talented in invention, he agreed to be the new captain. Even if his talent is good, I am afraid he will not be my opponent. Then the rest is Kuchiki Silver Suzu and Kiraku Chunsui, but that's not right. If it's them, why are they masked? At this time, Aizen had the biggest question in his heart, and that was why the person who attacked him had to cover his face. From the strength of the attacker, it could be seen that he was definitely stronger than him, so that meant he would not be afraid of his revenge at all. Forget it, let's put this matter aside for the time being, and let Kazuki Urahara and the others settle it first. After all, keeping these people is a scourge. Thinking of this, Aizen began to act. It's almost like the captain's affairs. Many captains, spiritual pressure disappeared, and some spiritual pressures appeared. I am afraid that something happened to Hirako Mako and the others. After hearing Uno Hanalai's words, Captain Yamamoto's face was gloomy and terrifying. Hirako, Mako and the others, there are 5 captain-level powerhouses in total, plus the first 6 chariots, this is 6. If he lost 6 captain-level powerhouses at once, it would definitely be a huge blow to Seorei, who had just stepped out of the haze of war. In the past, Seoringe had suffered such a large amount of damage, and it was only when there was a war with the virtual circle that large-scale captains suffered casualties. Damn, who the hell is that? Captain Yamamoto was furious at this time, but he didn't show it. But who is Ujawali? She has known the captain since more than 2,000 years ago, so she can naturally see his mood at this time. The matter of the captain is not simple, it is likely to be a conspiracy, so you have to calm down. I know, don't worry, I won't be in a mess. But this time, I have to trouble you to go to Liuhun Street in person to see what happened there. Even the 5 captain-level powerhouses joined forces. Now the commander-in-chief can only send Maujawali, otherwise he can only go there himself. Well, this matter is left to me. After saying that, Uno no Hanalai left. Hey, I hope it's not as bad as I thought. Captain Yamamoto couldn't help sighing after Uno Hanalai left. Although a lot of things happened that night, they had nothing to do with ordinary death. Most of the people in Serange slept soundly, but Captain Yamamoto was destined to have no sleep all night. The long night finally passed, the sun rose, the darkness shrouded in the entire soul realm was dispelled, and a new day began, and no one could predict what would happen on this day. It's finally over. In the research room, Urahara Kazuki heaved a sigh of relief. He didn't sleep all night, but his efforts were not in vain. With the cooperation of him and Dong Shenyao, the matter of Hirako Mako and the others was finally resolved. Of course, it's not that the blurring is eliminated, this kind of thing is irreversible. Dong Shenyao and the others just helped Hirako Mako and the others to temporarily defeat the virtual body in the same way as in the previous virtual experiment, allowing them to master the power of the virtual. However, because they were all seriously injured, although the blurring was temporarily resolved, they still did not wake up. Okay, it's already morning, let's go eat something. Dong Shenyao suggested. Guru. At this time, Urahara Kazuki's stomach cried out at the right time. Looks like you're hungry, let's go. After speaking, Dong Shenyao took Yi Yi's hand and walked out of the laboratory. Just as the two of them had just walked out of the room, they suddenly heard the sound of hurried footsteps coming from a distance, and Dong Shenyao's heart moved when he heard the sound, and then he directly pulled Yi Yi and disappeared in place. Hey, where are they going? Seeing that Dong Shenyao and the two actually used Shunpo to leave, Urahara Kazuki, who came out later, was stunned, but the next moment, a large number of death gods broke into the courtyard. Hey, who are you? This is the Technology Development Bureau, and no one can wait to enter. Urahara Kazuki scolded. Because there is a lot of advanced technology in the Technology Development Bureau, there is a rule that no one else can enter at will without approval. You are Kazuki Urahara, the director of the Technology Development Bureau, and the leader of the ghost priests, Ryatsusai. We have come to arrest you under the order of the Central 46th Office. You'd better not resist. Huh. Both Urahara Kazuki were taken aback when they heard that, and some didn't understand why the Central 46th Office wanted to arrest them. Seeing the gods of death all around him, Urahara Kazuki looked at each other and did not resist. Thank you, destroy the sky. Chapter 1477 sentenced, rescued. Facing the arrest of the 46th Central Room, Urahara Kazuki did not resist, because the Central 46th Room represented the Seraiti. If the two resisted now, then they were resisting the Serote. I want to continue to stay here. Urahara Kazuki did not think that they were guilty. In their opinion, there should be some misunderstanding, as long as they explained it clearly, so they let the god of death who arrested them put a shackle on them. This shackle is not just beautiful. Ordinary shackles are naturally unable to trap the god of death. The shackles used now are actually invented by the 12th Division and can suppress the spiritual power of the god of death. The god of death naturally doesn't have much resistance when he can't use his spiritual power. It can be said that once this shackle is put on, even a captain-level death god can only be captured without any strength. What to do with Dongshenyao? They were taken away. In the dark, watching Urahara Kazuki and others leave, Yi was a little anxious. Let's take a look at it. I'm afraid it's not easy. As he spoke, Dongshenyao dragged Yi and followed him secretly. As soon as he heard the footsteps, Dongshenyao thought of a plot in the original book, so he took Yi to hide. Because he didn't know whether the plot would change due to his arrival, it would be difficult if even 120 he and Yi were captured together. Hana, you're back, how are you? Have you seen Hirako Mako and the others? Seeing Hana who came in, Captain Yamamoto asked with concern. No, I deliberately walked around the entire Eastern Seoul Street, and in the end I just found a place with traces of battle. As for the people, I didn't see any of them. Ujawali shook his head and said. Damn it, haven't they all been eaten by emptiness? When Yan said, the expression on Captain Yamamoto's face was a little ugly. At this time, he thought of the report he had received before, and there was a virtual spiritual pressure in Liuhun Street. Is it really fake? It's impossible, it's only been so many years, so many powerful ghosts can't appear in the virtual circle. At this time, Captain Yamamoto was a little puzzled. In the previous war, the virtual circle was beaten badly, the broken face was completely destroyed, and there was only one Vastord left. As for the remaining number of Achukas, there were no more than 20. It has only been more than 10 years, and even if the virtual can evolve quickly through swallowing, Captain Yamamoto does not believe that several Vastords will appear in just a dozen years. What happened? At this time, Captain Yamamoto's head was a little messed up. For a while, the room was silent, and neither of Uno Hanaritsu said a word, and they didn't know that Urahara Kazuki and Warei Tetsusai were facing a crisis at this time. When Urahara Kazuki and the two were brought into the Central Room 46, the nobles in the Central Room 46 didn't give them a chance to speak at all, and directly read out the charges. The director of the Technology Development Bureau, Urahara Kazuki, did research on avatars without authorization, and maimed his colleagues, causing serious injuries to many captains and other gods of death. He was sentenced to life imprisonment for betrayal, and he will never be released. Walling Tetsusai assisted Urahara Kazuki in mutilating his colleagues, so you are sentenced to be imprisoned in 3 underground floors for 1,000 years. Quote. What? Both Urahara Kazuki were stunned when they heard the verdict. What did we do? Why punish us? Urahara Kazuki asked. Sinner, I didn't allow you to speak. Now that the evidence is solid, don't try to argue. I ask you, where were you last night at midnight? In Russian Street. This matter could not be concealed, so Urahara Kazuki did not lie. Accurately speaking, it is the 65th district in the east of Liuhun Street. The vice captain of the 5th Division, Aizen Sosuke, has already said that you ambushed Liuch Kensai and others there last night, and used them to test you. That evil avatar experiment. No, it's not me, I went there to save people, and it was Aizen who carried out the blurring experiment. Urahara Kazuki loudly defended. Huh, you still want to frame the blame. Last night, Aizen was in Serote all the time, but a lot of Shinigami saw him. Could it be that he still has the avatar technique, and can appear in Serote and Ryujin at the same time? 2 places on the street. Urahara Kazuki didn't know what to say for a while. Could it be that this is Aizen Zanpakudo's ability? Obviously no one will believe it. After all, Aizen's Zanpakudo ability is public. I have to say that Aizen is well camouflaged. I can't argue now. I didn't expect you to be such an evil person. Now I announce the next order. Given that Hirako Mako and others have been ineffective, they will now be sentenced to death. No, they still have help. Urahara Kazuki shouted suddenly. Bang! Suddenly the door was knocked open, and all the people in the room looked over. Who dares to offend the central 46th room? Whoosh! There was no answer, only a figure flew over. Bang! Bang! The shackles on Kazuki Urahara and Gurutsusai were all shattered. Let's go! Someone greeted him, and at this time, Kazuki Urahara saw that it was Yaiki who saved them. At this time, Urahara Kazuki already knew that if he didn't go, there was only a dead end, and no one would believe their words, so he didn't hesitate and ran out with Yaiki. Although the power of the central 46th room is not small, its strength is not strong. Few of the death gods under his command even reach the rank of chairperson. How can this stop the 3 captain-level powerhouses? Has run away. Where did you go with Toshin-kun just now, and why did you appear here? On the way, Kazuki Urahara asked. In the face of Kazuki Urahara's question, Yaiki didn't hide it, and told Toshinya what she suspected of being in danger and took her to hide in advance. Later, Dong Shenyao and I quietly followed after you were taken away, and followed the way to the 46th room in the center. We kept eavesdropping outside, and when we learned that you were going to be sentenced, I took action. What about Toshin-kun? Urahara Kazuki asked. He went back to save Hirako Mako and the others. You heard that, but the 46th room in the central government is going to kill them. Yi explained. This is also the result of Dong Shenyao after careful consideration. He knows that no matter who rescues Urahara Kazuki, he will become a defector, and it is impossible to continue to stay in Seirei in the future. Dong Shenyao doesn't want to leave here for the time being, so he let Yi one shot. Of course, he also had a selfish reason for doing this, that is, when Yi went to reality, he couldn't play happily with Uno Hanalei. Chapter 1478 Angry Captain. Let Yi go to the world. It's not just that Dong Shenyao wants to follow the original work, or that the proportion of this reason is very small. The real reason is that this can solve the matter of Uno Hanalei and Yi and 2 women. When the 2 women are not in the same world, then there will be no conflict. This is also the solution that Dong Shenyao has long thought of. In the world of Hokage, this is how Toshinyao settled the matter between Asuka and Tsunade from the beginning. As long as the 2 women are not together, then he will have the opportunity to step on 2 boats. As for Yi going to meet the 2 of them in this world, this is not a problem for Dong Shenyao. Don't forget, he is the captain of the 12th division, and he is responsible for managing the gate of crossing the world. Others have to get an order to open the piercing gate, but he doesn't need it. He can open it casually under the pretext of studying the piercing gate. If it really doesn't work, no one will find out if he secretly opens the gate of transcendence, so as long as he wants, he can go to the world to meet Yi at any time. Tattoo. Quick footsteps sounded, and then before Captain Yamamoto could react, he heard a bang, and the door was pushed open, which made him angry. At this time, the captain's mood was not good, and the person who came here was so rude, which naturally made him angry. Looking at the Shinigami who ran in, Captain Yamamoto roared angrily, "Speak your purpose, if you can't satisfy me, just wait and accept the punishment." This is now, if it were changed 1,000 years ago, Captain Yamamoto has the heart to kill. At this time, the god of death who broke in was directly frightened by the commander-in-chief. I saw his face turn pale, and he forgot to speak for a while. Bastard! What's the matter with you? Seeing that the death god didn't speak for a long time, the captain was even more angry, but his shouting made the death god come back to his senses. Captain, my subordinates have ordered the 46th room of the Central Committee to inform you to arrest the rebels Urahara Kazuki, Warei Tetsusai, and Sefenjin Yaiki. What? Captain Yamamoto was surprised when he heard that. Several captains are now missing, which made him arrest 3 captain-level characters. This time, Seoringe's strength has been greatly reduced. No, Hovling Tejai, didn't he go to Liuhun Street? Suddenly a flash of light flashed in Captain Yamamoto's mind, and he immediately stared at the god of death and asked, "What happened? Why did you arrest the 3 of them?" 1. At the same time, Unohana is also a little strange. I don't know why the good ones involve Yaiki and Urahara Kazuki. Master Captain, my subordinates don't know much about this matter. They are only responsible for spreading the word. I just heard that Urahara Kazuki and Warei Tetsusai were arrested in the Central 46th room not long ago, and then Yi broke into them. Went in and rescued them. Oh, J. Huh. After hearing the words, Captain Yamamoto let out a breath. After calming down, he did not rush to speak, but fell into thinking. Is greater than or equal to. What the hell happened? The damn Central 46 room is getting more and more arrogant, and I didn't even notify me when such a big thing happened. At this time, Captain Yamamoto wanted to kill. He arrested 2 captain-level characters without notifying himself, and now he directly designated the 3 captain-level characters as rebellious, which made Captain Yamamoto feel that he was simply ignored by the Central 46th room. After a few minutes, the captain looked up at the god of death who reported the letter and said, "I know about this, you go down." Yes. The death god didn't dare to ask any more questions, and hurriedly left after saluting the commander-in-chief and Ujiwali. He was under too much pressure here, and he didn't want to stay any longer. Ujihua, what do you think of this? The captain asked, looking towards Ujiwali. I don't know, but it should have something to do with Hirako Mako and the others. This person is very important. He also went to Liuhun Street with him before. Now everyone else is missing, but he has returned to Seronje. If you ask with his words, he should know everything. After hearing Uno's Hana Lai's words, Captain Yamamoto nodded, then stood up and walked out. Unoka, come with me. Just like that, Captain Yamamoto and Karatsu Unako left the room, and then the captain called some people from the first team and went straight to the second team. Huh, didn't come? Captain Yamamoto asked, looking directly at the god of death in front of him. Yes, Master Yi didn't come to work today. Broken Bee said nervously. Then do you know where Yaiki is? Captain Yamamoto continued to ask. Just now, he and Ujiwali brought people to the 2nd Division and wanted to see if Yaiki was here. After all, the news they got earlier was that Urahara Kazuki was rescued by the 2 of them. As for where the 3 went, no one knows, so they can only try their luck with the 2nd team first. I don't know, but maybe Captain Dongshin will know. Well, I see. After saying that, Captain Yamamoto didn't stop, and left with someone. Looking at the back of everyone leaving, Broken Bee's eyes showed worry. She didn't know what the commander-in-chief was doing with Yi, but instinctively realized that this was not a good thing. Lord Yi, don't do anything wrong. Just when the Broken Bees were praying here, Yoichi had already brought Kazuki Urahara to the 12th Division. The 3 of them did not go through the main entrance, but sneaked indirectly. With their captain-level strength, it is still easy to avoid being discovered. Soon the 3 of them met Dong Shenyao, and in the room there were several others who were still unconscious Hirako Mako. It was Dong Shenyao who brought them over from the Technology Development Bureau. How is Dong Shenyao? Is it going well? Yi asked with concern. It's not very smooth. Seo Lingting really did it. What happened? Urahara Kazuki asked. When I came back to pick up Hirako Mako, I found that many gods of death had already rushed to the Technology Development Bureau. They probably executed Hirako Mako and the others in the past. Bang! Hearing that, Urahara Kazuki slapped the table angrily and shouted, these bastards. Okay, it's not worth getting angry with them. The people in the 46th room in the central room are just a bunch of rubbish who only know how to covet power. Yi persuaded. The 46th room in the center is composed of nobles. As the patriarch of the top noble family of Saifengyuan, Yi naturally knows a lot about the nobles in the 46th room in the center. Although these people are nobles and have a high status in Saranje, their strength is not very good. They can't fight, but they are experts in fighting for power and profit. Chapter 1479 Target Present. Hey, what should we do now? Although the judge was sentenced to the 46th room of the central government, but now that we have run away, we have violated the laws and regulations of the Saraiti, and I am afraid that even the captain will not be able to tolerate us. Ling Tejai said with a confused expression. Can't they investigate carefully? As long as Hirako Mako and the others wake up, they will know the truth by asking. Urahara Kazuki said with a frown. Urahara-kun, don't be so naive. Yi looked at Kazuki Urahara amusingly and said, do you think the people in Central Room 46 really care about the so-called truth? They value their face more than the truth. Now that you have been convicted, they will not investigate again, because even if the result of the investigation is that you are indeed wronged, they will not change it, because that would damage their majesty. How can this be so? What about the captain, doesn't he care? Urahara Kazuki said in disbelief. The commander-in-chief won't care, because he also wants to maintain the authority of the 46th Central Room. At most, he will clean up the Central 46th Room after this incident, but your charges will not change. As a nobleman, Saifengyuan Yei sees this kind of thing very thoroughly. Okay, don't think about being vindicated, at least it won't be possible in a short time. Unless Aizen exposes himself completely and let everyone know that you have been wronged in this matter, otherwise the crime will not be cancelled. The most urgent thing at the moment is to think about what to do next. With your crimes, let alone in the spirit garden, even in the entire soul society, there is no place to stand. Then what should we do? After hearing Dong Shenyao's words, Nai Tejai became a little anxious. Are we going to the virtual circle? No, Urahara Kazuki directly rejected the words of Gurutsusai. We can't go to the virtual circle, and we can't contact the expeditionary army when we go there. After all, the expeditionary army also belongs to the soul world. We will definitely be wanted by then, and the expeditionary army will arrest us when they see us. As for hiding in other places in the virtual circle, it is unrealistic. The environment there is too bad and it is very dangerous. Even if we are all captains, we cannot guarantee certain safety. So there is only one place we can go. Urahara Kazuki stopped when he said this. Urahara-kun, can you please stop making people's appetites? Let's talk about where to go. Urahara-kun, you are talking about the world, right? Before Kazuki Urahara could speak, Ta Shinyao replied. Yes, it is the present world. Urahara Kazuki affirmed. 4. When Yan Knight 1 and Holding Ling Tejai couldn't help looking at each other, one nodded at the same time. That's a good idea. Although Saraiti has always sent a Shinigami to guard the world, it won't interfere in the world. It will only deal with the virtual. As long as we put on the Mukuro to hide, then Saraiti wants to find us very much. Difficult. Yi analyzed. Then what are you waiting for? Act quickly. Huling Tejai urged. This matter is still going to trouble Tashin-kun, and it is more dependent on the 12th Division to open the gate of crossing the world. While speaking, Urahara Kazuki looked at Ta Shinyao. The Technology Development Bureau is only in charge of researching and developing technologies. Although they can also make the gates, according to the regulations, they cannot open them at will, so the Technology Development Bureau does not have the equipment to open the gates. Although Urahara Kazuki's ability can completely make such a set of instruments, but it takes too much time, and they don't have so much time to use now, so now they only use the instruments of the 12th Division. No problem, but it's not appropriate for other people to know about this, so we need to control the instruments ourselves. You guys wait here, I'll call the others away. After speaking, Dong Shenyao left the room. Soon Dong Shenyao came to the room that opened the gate of crossing the realm. At this time, there were some gods of death monitoring the situation in the realm. You go out first, I have something to do, remember no one is allowed in without my order. Yes. Facing the captain's orders, these gods of death did not dare to disobey. Although they didn't know what Dong Shenyao was going to do, they left obediently. After confirming that no one was there, Ta Shenyao did not go through the main entrance, but directly opened an underground passage to pick up Urahara Kazuki and the others. Just when Ta Shenyao and Urahara Kazuki were about to open the gate, a god of death suddenly shouted from outside the room, "Captain, the captain is here, and I want to see you." Hearing that Urahara Kazuki and the others were all nervous. What should we do? The commander-in-chief and they are here to arrest us. Walling Tizai said anxiously. Don't be afraid, the commander-in-chief probably doesn't know you are here. At this time, Dong Shenyao seemed very calm. If the commander-in-chief really knew that you were here, then I wouldn't have been notified, but he would have just brought someone in. Well, it's up to you to come when Urahara-kun opens the gate of crossing the world. I'll deal with the captain first. Then you should go to the world first, and I'll find you when I have time. Okay, leave it to me. Urahara Kazuki nodded. Dong Shenyao didn't waste any time either. After leaving the room, he soon saw Captain Yamamoto. Captain, why are you here, and you brought so many people with you? Dong Shenyao asked pretending to be puzzled. Captain Yamamoto didn't speak, just stared at Dong Shenyao, as if to see something, and after a while he said, East-shin-kun, do you really not know what happened? Huh, what happened to the captain? Did they find Captain Hirako? Ta Shenyao played very well in 2.5, so the captain was not sure if he knew about Yaiki, but he didn't waste any more time and said directly, East God-kun, Yaiki and Urahara Kazuki are wanted. Now, do you know their whereabouts? What? Hearing that, Dong Shenyao was surprised, and then he quickly asked, what happened to the captain, why do you want them to be wanted? I don't know the specifics. I'll talk about this later. I'll ask you again, Dongshin-kun, if you know the whereabouts of Yi Yi and the others. Sorry, I really don't know. Yi Yi left in the morning, and I don't know where she is now. East God-kun, the stakes are very important. In order to ensure that Yi Yi and the others will not leave, I need to search your 12th division, and I hope you can cooperate. Chapter 1480 successfully defected. East God-kun, it's a big deal. In order to make sure that Yi Yi and the others won't leave, I need to search your 12th division, and I hope you can cooperate. The reason why the captain decided to search the 12th division is because he felt that this was the last possible place for Yi Yi and the others. There are two reasons. One is that both Yaiki and Urahara Kazuki are related to Ta Shenyao. One is a good friend and the other is a lover. If something goes wrong, they will definitely ask Ta Shenyao for help. Another reason is the gate of crossing the realm. Although the 12th division is not the only place where the gate of crossing the realm can be opened, it is the most convenient. The gates of crossing the world in other places cannot be opened at will, and all have various restrictions. Only the 12th division's cross-border gate can be opened at will. After all, the 12th division has the task of monitoring the boundary. The commander-in-chief wasn't sure if what Dong Shenyao said was the truth, and even if it was the truth, he couldn't rule out the possibility that Yi Yi and the others were in the 12th division. After all, the size of the 12th division is not small, and it is not impossible to hide Dong Shenyao from 21 and enter here. So Captain Yamamoto decided to do a search to find out if Yuichi and the others were here. Hearing this, Dong Shenyao's heart jumped suddenly. It takes time to open the gate of crossing the world, and it also takes time to reach the world. It would be troublesome if Urahara Kazuki and the others were seen by the captain before they arrived in this world, and a war would be inevitable. It seems that we can only delay the time. Dong Shenyao knew that it was impossible to stop and search, and that would arouse the suspicion of the commander-in-chief, so he hurriedly agreed after a little hesitation. There is no problem with the captain's search, but as you know, I have a lot of instruments here, so I hope to be careful during the search, so as not to damage the instruments. There's no problem with that. I'll let them be careful. That's good, but it's better to let the people from our 12th Division follow, so that they can guide you and tell you which instruments are more important. No problem. The commander-in-chief agreed again. Immediately Dong Shenyao summoned the Shinigami of the 12th Division, which delayed for a while, and then ordered the Shinigami who led the first team to start the search. The people who led the way were the Shinigami of the Security Bureau, and Dong Shenyao secretly explained some things to Ba Qinliu, asking her to find a way to delay the time, and at the same time, try to search the room that opened the door to the world as late as possible. Watching the death of the first team leave, the commander-in-chief waited. At this time, Ta Shinyao was a little nervous. He didn't know whether Urahara Kazuki and the others would be able to leave successfully, and he was even ready to take action. I don't know how much of a gap there is now with the captain of Yamamoto. Just as Dong Shenyao was thinking about countermeasures, the time passed by 1 minute and 1 second, and the rooms in the 12th Division were searched. Arranged at the end. More than 10 minutes later, a group of death gods came to the room where the gate of crossing the world was opened. Although Yaqinliu tried his best to delay, he still got here. With a soft creak, the door was pushed open. No one. The death god of the first team looked at it. The area of this room is not small, but there are not many things. It can be seen through almost at a glance. After looking around, nothing came up. Go and look elsewhere. Watching the first team of death gods leave, Ba Qinliu breathed a sigh of relief. She knew what the first team was looking for. Since Dong Shenyao had instructed her to carefully open the room through the gate, it meant that Yi and the others were here before. As for where people are now, Ba Qinliu didn't even think about it. As long as he wasn't found, it would be fine. After a few minutes passed, the first team of death had searched the entire 12th team, but found nothing, so they could only go back and report to the chief captain. My lord, we found nothing. Hearing that, the commander-in-chief frowned. Am I thinking wrong? Although I don't understand it, I can't continue to waste time here without him. Since you don't have Dongshin-kun here, I'll look elsewhere. But if you see Yi, they remember to notify me. Although he said that, the captain knew that if Dong Shenyao really saw Yi, first-class people will never inform him. Don't worry, I will definitely. Dong Shenyao assured. Just after the commander-in-chief left with someone, he secretly arranged for someone to start monitoring the 12th Division, and then took someone to the Technology Development Bureau. At this time, the Technology Development Bureau welcomed an uninvited guest. No one would have thought that Aizen Soyusuk would be in the Technology Development Bureau at this time. The reason why he came here was to see if Hirako Meiko and others were dealt with. However, Meiko Hirako and the others were not found, but Aizen was not without harvest. In Kazuki Urahara's research room, he found some research on collapsing jade. Bengyu, isn't this the thing I developed? I didn't expect Kazuki Urahara to make one too. God helped me. Looking at the information in his hand, Aizen's face showed ecstasy. During an experiment, he made Bengyu unintentionally. Of course, the name he gave was not Beng 947 Jade, but Aizen felt that the name of Bengyu was better, so he had decided that his baby would also be called Bengyu in the future. Collapsing Jade. When Aizen realized the true role of Bengyu, he had ambitions to break through the limit and become a god. But unfortunately, at this time, he found that the collapsed jade was not complete, but only a semi-finished product. In order to make the collapsed jade complete, Aizen has done a lot of research, but unfortunately it has not been able to achieve what she wants. At this time, he found that Urahara Ki's assistant also had a broken jade, and it was probably a semi-finished product. He had a plan. But it seems that they won't be able to get it in a short time. As long as Urahara Kazuki and the others are not stupid, they won't stay in Seirei Garden. But it doesn't matter, anyway, I don't really need Bengyu now. Thinking of this, Aizen quietly left the Technology Development Bureau after erasing the traces of his arrival. Not long after, Captain Yamamoto brought people to the Technology Development Bureau to conduct a search, but of course they found nothing. Then he went to the Ghost Dao congregation again, but there was nothing to gain, which made the captain a little puzzled. Strange, where are they hiding? After thinking for a while, the commander-in-chief thought of another place, and that was Siphon Yuan Ye's home.